Yeah.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
So I got a little bit of I guess I would say, advice for people that have trouble watching the Jets. Try it with bad internet. It actually improves the experience a little bit when it breaks up, because that's what I had coming home yesterday from California on the plane watching the game, and it was breaking up here and there. The feed would go out, and it didn't feel nearly as bad for 3.5 hours than I think it normally would. It's Bart Carlin. Good morning on 880 ESPN and on the ESPN New York app. Dan Grassa, who was up at 4:30? Was it 4:30 yesterday?
That was let me see, 5:30. It was a 5:30.
Okay.
5:30
on a
alarm.
Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Feels illegal.
Right. And I didn't have to say Mass yesterday, so I wasn't up early to, unlock the doors to the church or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we skipped Mass.
Skip Mass, yeah.
And made our way in to do the pregame and did the game and all that.
Flawless transportation, easy, nobody on the road. Like, that part
The
was
bagel
great.
situation, no problem.
Let me tell you something. Walked right. How about this? The bagel place door was open because it was a little unseasonably warm yesterday morning, a little humid with the storm incoming, right?
Nobody needs that.
Right. They had the door wide open. Walked in there 6 o'clock. Bagels hot, fresh, fully stocked. I'll take a couple. So I was breakfast phenomenal. That part was great. Then the game started, and unfortunately it became Groundhog Day yet again.
Well, it is unfortunate.
But there's a lot to get to with that one, isn't there?
There is.
Oh,
there is. It may have been a lot of the same stuff, but we really need to dive in, and we're going to do that right now. It is Bart Carlin, as we said, on ESPN New York, on the ESPN New York app, and on YouTube now. Go to the YouTube page for ESPN New York. Subscribe there. Watch the show. It is there for you to watch and just marvel over the video accounts of this show that you will get over the next few hours. So we encourage you to do that, and we also encourage you to be a part of the program very shortly at 800-919-3776. I'm just going to start here. Justin Fields is 100% responsible for that loss yesterday. That was as painful as it gets when you were talking about watching quarterback play, seeing somebody take 9 sacks, feeling bad for an offensive line that they were going to get some of the blame for the people that didn't watch the game and just see 9 sacks and say, well, the line must stink. I have never seen a quarterback in a game be more responsible for taking as many sacks as Fields was yesterday, and it was so clear that he just did not see the field at all.
When they were sitting there, and good people that do the research with the NFL, and it's their job to come up with a historical comparison. When you have that type of an effort or lack, we had an accident.
I took a sip of water.
But at least it's water.
Yeah, it's water, and now it looks like I'm lactating.
You got to stand up, move back from the microphone so people could see it on the stream.
Yeah.
It looks like you cried on yourself.
It looks like a stream. It looks like a stream.
It looks like a stream of water. It's not perspiration.
No.
You don't have have nipple tears or anything like that.
No, it looks like I'm lactating.
A little bit, yeah.
So,
but at least it's water. It'll dry, and you got some on your pants. I see there too.
Yeah.
Not to draw attention to it. But.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is even better. It's not in the area where you would think that something happened, or maybe I zipped up too soon. But it is an unfortunate
zipped
way.
Up too soon.
It is an unfortunate way to really start the show. As I just went to take a simple sip of water, and I misjudged how high the water level was.
And plus, if you have ice in there, sometimes that throws you off a little too, where you take a sip and then all of a sudden the ice comes rushing out. And then you have problems like you did.
Anyway,
so like I was saying, when you sit there and you take a performance like that and you try to put it in its historical perspective, like the last time somebody went such and such and produced this type of an output, when the comp that they draw up is San Diego Chargers Ryan Leaf, circa 1998. If you're in the same breath, in the same category with that, then you know it was a game you probably should not have bothered to watch. And unfortunately, that's the kind of day. It was a tough, let's put it this way. If Justin Fields doesn't want to travel overseas anymore in his life, you can understand why, at least to the United Kingdom, because that was awful.
I understand why Aaron Glenn got a little chippy after the game.
But do you?
I understand it, because we collectively have the option of turning the game off.
Mm-hmm.
He does not. And I'm not saying that he was right, but when he gets this annoyed, I kind of understand it.
Justin's numbers are not good in this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you?
Come on, man. What kind of question is that?
Well, he did not have a good game. I mean, I think it's a fair question.
There's a number of guys that, sometimes this league is like this, and there are guys that have bad games. That doesn't mean you just bench them. Come on, you know better than that.
You guys are 0-6, though. Like,
Yep.
This isn't, a team that's 2-3 or 3-3.
No doubt.
The quarterback has a bad game. And Justin's played a role in some of these offensive struggles.
No doubt. Everybody's played a role in that. So it's not just Justin, because I understand where you guys are trying to take this. But listen, there's a number of other guys that, got to pick their game up too. So I don't want to sit there and pin this all on Justin.
No, you can. You can. And he did even kind of acknowledge later on, you can take a chance and let some of your receivers go and try to make a play as opposed to taking a sack. But I understand his frustration level is getting to him. I'm sure this is killing him in every way possible to be 0-6. And I actually thought up until that point in the press conference he handled himself reasonably well as to where he's been. But, he has to watch it too, man. And I don't even think that he is trying to insult our intelligence at this point. A lot of what he's saying doesn't even matter anymore. What we see is what matters. And what I really wonder, Dan, is how much longer you can even remotely justify running him out there, because I think even he knows you can't justify running him.
Couple of things. And look, there's a lot. We've got 3 hours, and I'm sure this is going to be the majority of our show today here. But that comment, and I know we would get to it at some point, we're sitting there doing the postgame yesterday, and immediately when he said that, and we're back in the studio listening to it, I immediately looked over to Greg and said, well, wait a second. You're going to get on somebody for asking why you don't bench a quarterback, and he's going to say you don't bench a guy after one bad game. Everybody has a bad game. But this is also the same coach. Let's not forget about benching a guy after one bad game. He cut a guy.
Yeah.
Cut a guy. Xavier Gibson says hi. If this was like the Jerry Springer show during that press conference yesterday, let's bring out Xavier Gibson, and then he'll come out, right when he says you don't bench a guy after one bad game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they cut Isaiah Williams after a bad game. And who's back, by the way?
I looked up and just realized that, and I'm like, oh, that must have been a nice news dump somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I didn't even realize he was back.
You want to say you're holding guys accountable, but I guess it depends on what guy. Yeah. Guys that are dispensable, guys that aren't making a ton of money, guys that are maybe not starting quarterbacks, so on and so forth, that maybe don't have as critical a role on this team, those guys are okay to just boot out the building.
Yeah.
Get out of here in the building. But this guy, you couldn't bench him yesterday, even though anybody that was watching that game could tell you that if you pointed to one person that had the largest hand into why they didn't win that game yesterday, it was the quarterback.
Well, this is why I say, I understand why he said it, but to your exact point, you can't say it. You can't. When you have talked about all throughout training camp, ever since you got the job, and the actions have reflected it with smaller guys on the roster, all you have to do in that moment is just say everybody is accountable for their play, and with every, on this team, you earn your spot every single week, and nobody would have had a problem with it, and it would have moved on so nicely. So he is still finding his way here, and there are just too many people who are finding their way. You have too many, whether it's a young offensive coordinator who's run the show for the first time, whether it's Fields who is not finding his way anymore. This is just what he is. He cannot process down the field.
We've seen his stripes.
This is it.
Right.
So, and that's okay. You opted to not bring Rodgers back. That's okay. What's not okay is that the whole thing, the way it was designed, was at least supposed to give you a chance to win because you knew what your identity was going to be. It was going to be play great defense and then run the football and have a chance to go win. Well, up until yesterday, they haven't played great defense. And in yesterday, they couldn't run the ball at all. And when they did, they obviously could do nothing in the pass. When you can't complete a pass, when the quarterback is looking and just he's throwing the ball so late when he does throw it, not giving guys a chance, man, it takes away any opportunity you have to do anything else. And that's why I pin it all on him.
You look at that game, and the whole theme about benching the quarterback, and, some people look at it as being so punitive, for example, right? Like, oh, my, you can't do that. God forbid, you can't do that. Nobody was saying you put him on the bench and then Justin Fields never plays again for the New York Jets. Your job as a head coach is, and I don't care what sport it is, but in this case we're talking about the NFL, is to do all you can to win that game, right? You're trying to win that game. And that was a gettable game yesterday. We agree on that.
Oh, absolutely.
That was a gettable game. Defense played well enough to win that game. Special teams well enough to win that game. The offense didn't show up. If you went to the bullpen and you brought Tyrod Taylor in, I don't care at what point, start the second. And I actually thought that they were going to start the second half with Tyrod Taylor. I really and truly did, because you know what? I had seen enough. And everybody watching that game had seen enough for the first 2 quarters. If you brought Tyrod in, and even if he rallied them to a victory, you could still go back to Justin Fields next week. You're playing the Carolina Panthers. It's a fresh slate, fresh game, because I'll tell you something. When Tyrod played the game against Tampa Bay in Week 3, he wasn't bad, he wasn't great. And I know they lost on a walk-off field goal, but remember, that offense didn't do anything the first 3 quarters until it was garbage time, and they dinked and dunked their way back in because Todd Bowles was basically like, let's trade yards for clock. But even after that game, the consensus was, yeah, now we know why Justin Fields has to be the quarterback. And that's okay, and he was healthy, and he came back and started the next week. You still could have went back to Justin Fields next week, even if Tyrod won you the game yesterday. All the great coaches have done that. Bill Parcells, you know how many times I sat there and watched him when he was coaching either one of the 2 teams in this town pull a quarterback, and then Glenn Foley comes in off the bench, helps them beat the New England Patriots, and then he goes back to Neil O'Donnell the next week? He did that with Hostetler and Sims one game in 1990, for crying out loud. Do what you can to win a game. Sometimes your guy doesn't have it. You know what? But you owe it to all the guys in that locker room, and that's the slippery slope here moving forward. Okay, the defense played their you-know-what's off yesterday. The offensive line, because the neophyte that looks at football and maybe doesn't really get into the nuance of it, they're going to see quarterback get sacked 9 times. Who are you going to point the finger at?
Of course.
You're going to point it at the offensive line.
Yep.
Okay, there's frustration there. Jets used to have a quarterback a few years ago. You might have heard of him at BYU, right? He held the ball really, really, really long when he was here, especially when he was a rookie. I have it on good authority. I know for a fact they'd come off the field after a 3-and-out or whatever, is the offensive lineman would rip him a new you-know-what, because he held the ball too long, and they were basically saying, throw the darn ball. That was the case yesterday. I mean, if I'm one of these offensive linemen, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I got the numbers right here. I mean, this is the NFL. Okay, you're not going to be able to play a game in a tuxedo if you're a quarterback. You shouldn't be. The 9 sacks, this is per True Media, that Justin Fields was brought down yesterday. Here was the time that he had to pass before he got brought down, each one of them. 4.4 seconds, 2.9, 2.1, 3.3, 3.4, 3.6, 3.8, 4.4, and then the biggest hootenanny there, 7.7. An average on the 9 sacks of almost 4 seconds.
That's unbelievable that you would have that much time.
I can make a sandwich in 4 seconds. I felt like I got here in 4 seconds today. There was nobody on the road. It was fantastic. Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm so frustrated in watching it, and I was a Fields guy before last year, watched a lot of it last year, went out on him, clearly out on him now. So you're right. If you had gone ahead and pulled him yesterday, like what at this point is the worst that can happen if you pull him at halftime with how that halftime thing played out? Let's talk about that for a second. That's part of the problem, all right? People want to scream and yell about the clock management at the end of the half. I actually didn't have a major problem, and I understood what he was trying to do, Aaron Glenn. So you take the timeout before the 3rd down play, and he throws the 3rd down pass at midfield and completes it yet again, what do you know, short of a 1st down.
Yeah.
Not just receivers not running to the sticks, but just always going to the check down guy when you can. So he does that, and you're at 30 seconds, and people are screaming and yelling that the clock is just going to run out. What Aaron Glenn is doing there's so much focus these days on the middle 8. If you haven't heard that phrase, it's the last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. I'm not breaking any news here, and how much the analytics talk about how winning those 8 minutes of the game are incredibly important. And if you have a chance to end the first half with the football at the very worst, that's what you do. So you had 4th and inches, didn't have any timeouts left, or maybe he had 1 left.
They had one left.
Had one left. And he opted to not go for it because it's at midfield and just let the clock run out. I had no problem with that because he doesn't trust his quarterback. He didn't trust the quarterback. That's the issue. He has the same problems with the situation that you do. And so he was trying to just play it safe. No, and I'm getting the ball to start the second half. Maybe I don't need anybody to screw this up and give them the ball with 20 seconds left at midfield and let him get a field goal before the end of the half.
But how do you not take a shot? Right? Like we were talking about it before the show. Okay, you wanted the time to run down, and I understand whatever philosophy and whatever your strategy was going to be at the end of the half. It was perplexing as hell at the time. Look, we all were sitting there kind of amazed at what was unfolding. But at the very end, if you didn't want him to get the ball back, which I can appreciate, how about, you know what, take one last shot on a Hail Mary. He had the ball basically
let
almost
it run down
midfield.
to 5 seconds.
Let it run down to 5 seconds, and then just throw the damn ball to where it's either going to be caught for a touchdown or it's going to go incomplete or out of the whatever, and then the half is over.
Do you trust him not to get sacked?
If he gets sacked, at least Denver's not going to get the ball back, right? I mean, the clock will run out one way or the other. But you're right, he might take a sack. But it's like, you know, and there's so many things that you could sit there and pinpoint. But even on the ultimate, the ninth and final one yesterday in that game, it's like, how do you eat the ball there? I don't care if you didn't see anything. I mean, what are you, waiting for fifth down?
Yeah.
Like, we take it. You know what? Let me take another shot on fifth down. Let's see if we can move the sticks then. Throw the damn ball up. That's the only chance you have. Maybe the refs will throw a flag. Yeah. And then you get a fresh set of downs. You know what? Their best chance of getting a fresh set of downs in that situation was just throwing it up for grabs and maybe they get a penalty. Because you knew it wasn't going to be them getting 10 yards. Not with the way things were going. I mean, think about it. On that final sequence, to where, you know what, if I would have said to any Jet fan before that game started, hey, 2 minutes left in the game, or thereabouts, you're going to get the ball down, 2 points. You're going to start the drive at the 43-yard line. Would you sign up for that? Everybody would.
Yep.
With a chance to only need a field goal. Only need a field goal. That's all you had to do. First play of the series. Botched handoff exchange. Fields trying to give it to Breece Hall. It worked. They got 7 yards. You know why? Because it was a busted play.
Yeah.
So it was a busted play. It looked like they were going to have to fall on the ball or maybe fumble it. That's the only reason the play sprung loose.
It looked like Trevor Lawrence Monday night.
Yes. And Breece was able to get 7 yards. And you're like, okay, we didn't draw it up that way, but it works. And then from there on, it was just more of the same. Backwards. And then they get the first down, couple of sacks. How do you get minus 10 net yards passing for an NFL game these days?
It's very hard to do.
I mean, and then you look around the league. I'm watching, and I was drained when getting home from these games. It's exhausting. You know that. You're almost kind of footballed out. You really and truly are.
Absolutely.
So I'm getting home, and then I'm like, just whatever, chilling out, trying to unwind. And then we're watching the other games. Maybe it was even the Sunday night game. My wife said to me, she goes, I think it was the Lions maybe. And it was just a simple 7-8 yard out route. Pass, completion, out of bounds, move the sticks, whatever. She's like, why does everything seem so easy for other teams?
Mm-hmm.
Even the routine just seems easy. And I said, that's a good point. And I don't have an answer for you. I wish I did. But, I'm listening to other games driving home yesterday after we finished up, and Jacoby Brissett started yesterday for the Arizona Cardinals in Indianapolis. Almost won him a game. Jacoby Brissett, who didn't play much this year. How does Jacoby Brissett throw for 320 yards on the road in kind of a game where he maybe didn't even know that he was starting until a couple of days before? A couple of touchdown passes. 320 yards. And we're throwing for minus 10?
Yeah. It's hard to take.
Minus 10.
So let me ask you this. You alluded to the situation with Zach Wilson a few years ago and the offensive lineman screaming at him, throw the ball. So many times we talk about the divide that can happen in teams between offenses and defenses, specifically when you have a really good defense and a bad offense. The Jet defense really had nothing to say for several weeks. Yesterday, they had something to say. So maybe it's not just the defense. I guess my question at this point would be, how do you justify running Fields out there this week? Unless Tyrod Taylor is just that inferior to him. I always subscribe to this. I always go back to the basics. The coach will give the player who gives him the best chance to win, in his belief, the football and give him the chance to go out and play. And that's based on what he sees in practice. And I honestly can't imagine that in practice it looks this much better. Because all throughout camp, it was one great day, one bad day.
And Aaron Glenn's talking right now, by the way. I don't know if he wrapped up yet his day after press conference, and we'll have the sound bites for you. But I'm just reading some of the quotes. He's again doubling down on the fact that he doesn't feel you bench a player after one bad game. And
it's not one bad game.
No, I understand, but he also referenced the first 4 games he's played. He said if weren't bad, he did some good things.
You want to hear it? It's right here.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
Let's go.
I'd love to hear it.
I thought about this a lot last night. I thought about the question that was asked. When you look at what Justin did, the games that he played, I didn't think he was bad at all. I actually thought he did some pretty good things in those 4 games. In this 5th game, he took a step back, and I'm with you guys 100%. And we can't have that. We have to get better than that. And he knows that. And he knows that better than anyone, So I don't think you just try to bench a player after having one true bad game. Because I thought the other games he played fairly well.
All right. Can I? I don't mean to jump you there.
No, go.
Aaron Glenn is a Bill Parcells disciple. There's no secret, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bill Parcells, one of the things that he swore up and down, believed in, that a quarterback should do, bring home a winner and get your team in the end zone. Those were the 2 big things. Get your team in the end zone, find a way to win the game. The quarterback that he said has done a lot of good things for this season, okay? I'm just giving you black and white numbers here, facts, stone cold hard facts. You got to go back to week 1, the last time this team scored a touchdown in the first 3 quarters of a game, okay? First 3 quarters of a football game. You got to go back to week 1. The last 5 games. And granted, Tyrod played one of them, okay? Last 5 weeks. You know how many points they've scored in the first half? 21. In 5 weeks. Cowboys had 23 in the first half last week when they were at the Meadowlands. Jets scored 19 points in week 1 in the first half. They've scored 21 in the first half the next 5 games. So all these great things that the coach is alluding to, fine. They have access. They're exposed to certain things that we aren't, of course. The behind the scenes, right? The devil in the details, as they like to reference. I'm just giving you numbers right there. And then the most important number I'm looking at in the standings. There's 32 teams in this league. Only one of them doesn't have a victory. So you could talk about all these great things and everything that's happening. Bottom line is, you getting your team in the end zone, winning football games. I just told you right there, it's not happening.
I don't even want to listen to him anymore. None of it, none of what he says matters.
You know what's funny, too? And we knew this was going to be one of these days. We knew it was going to be one of those days. When the game went final yesterday, I said, well, buckle up. I know what the next 36 hours are going to be like. This is the 3rd time in the history of this franchise, a star-crossed franchise, that they've started 0-6. Chris, I've been there for all 3 of them. Working for the team now for 2 of them. I was a season ticket holder for the first one. 96 with Kotite, which was probably the worst season in the history of the franchise when they went 1-15. 2020, the COVID year with Gase, when they started 0-13 and won 2 games late in the year, which cost them Trevor Lawrence and got them Zach Wilson. And now this. This was not supposed to happen. 2020, you were like, well, it's going to be a tough year. 96, they went out and spent a whole bunch of money. So on paper, they were a lot better. I don't know if they expected 0-6, but that was just, it speaks for itself. They won 4 games in 2 years, but that guy's the coach. Nobody expected 0-6. Nobody did. And yeah, they've been in a lot of these games. They could have easily won yesterday's game, but they didn't. And if you want to sit there and chalk up, you got to play better and all those other things. But when you point to different things like this and accentuate all these good and positive things that are happening, the numbers tell a different story, don't they?
The numbers illustrate the truth of what's going on. That's just simple. And it's a few things. Number one, this was not a rebuild. You never sold it as a rebuild. Nobody ever told me about a rebuild. So can we please stop citing Detroit? I don't give a crap about what happened in Detroit.
Here's the other thing about that,
I knew that
too.
was going to be a bad team.
Here's the other thing about the Detroit thing. I think that is starting to also fall on deaf ears a little bit for the fan base.
It should.
You know, if you want to sell that to maybe the people that ultimately decide your fate, be my guest. But you can talk about Detroit all you want. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again in this case.
No.
Because think of how long Detroit was down on their luck. There were a lot of coaches and a lot of GMs that tried to turn this thing around in Detroit that couldn't get it right before they finally did here with Dan Campbell. And yes, Aaron Glenn was a part of it. You know, Steve Mariucci was a winning coach with the 49ers all those years. He goes to Detroit, and they were a laughingstock. You know, he couldn't figure that thing out. Josh McDaniels has how many Super Bowl rings? Working alongside Brady and Belichick with the Patriots. Was part of that thing when it turned or whatever. Guess what? As a head coach, how did Josh McDaniels fare?
Yeah.
Not good.
And did I miss it? And Detroit won a Super Bowl? Or got to a Super Bowl? Did I miss that? We can take that aside. I can't listen to this stuff anymore. Tom just gave me the next cut from Aaron Glenn of what he just said 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it says on the tagline, I have confidence in team. I'm not going to waver one bit. I don't want to listen to it. I don't care. I've heard it 10 times. I've heard it 15 times. I've heard about Detroit. I've heard about it doesn't happen overnight. You never told me this was a rebuild. You never told me this was a rebuild. There was never any sense that it was a rebuild. This was a retool. This was a get into a new culture thing. This has nothing to do with any of that. Nothing.
Let's be fair. You look at this, if we could simulate on a video game and play the 2025 Jets against the 2020 Gase Jets, this team would be like the 85 Bears compared to that 2020
They'd be a 14-point favorite.
They'd be a 14-point favorite. There's talent on this team. And the other thing that, unfortunately, doesn't make this all add up, when you look at the situation that's happening here, and you could talk about starting over and everybody's new and they're trying to build this thing the right way and culture, look at what's going on in Jacksonville. I know they lost yesterday, but Jacksonville has a first-year kid GM who looks like he's about 30 years old, okay? First-year head coach. First-year offensive coordinator. And I say offensive because it's Thanksgiving in Canada. Happy Thanksgiving to all our Canadian friends
Is it
out there.
Boxing Day or is it?
No, that's something different.
Oh,
yeah. This
okay.
is Thanksgiving. Just good old Thanksgiving. Afternoon hockey today, too, by the way. First-year play caller, offensive coordinator. First-year defensive coordinator as well. All in Jacksonville. They're 4-2. Right now, if I put a weapon near you, life on the line, Jets are guaranteed to win 4 games this year?
No. The Jets are not guaranteed to win a game this year the way this is.
And by the way, I apologize. You think this offense was great yesterday? Coach also said he'll have an update on Wednesday about Garrett Wilson. Generally, those aren't great updates when you have to wait till Wednesday. So that means
if a guy's okay, you know it today.
And you know what? You saw what this offense did yesterday with Garrett Wilson. Can you imagine what lies ahead if you don't have number 5?
If I'm Garrett Wilson right now, why am I rushing back? 800-919-3776. I'm holding a lot of it back right now because, truth be told, in the middle of this segment,
because we got 3 hours,
and also, but just in the middle of this segment, listening to this more, I get more aggravated and more. I'm not even a fan, but more emotions of just stupidity that are coming through for me and how emotional I am about this, about how bad this is. I don't even know what the hell I just said in the last 15 seconds. That was a word salad. This sucks, and I got a lot to say about it. How about that?
Fair.
Let's leave it at that. Bart Carlin, ESPN New York.
Yeah, Dad.
I think I came up with a killer slogan for our law firm. D'Agostino and Associates, bite back.
Bite back?
Yeah, when someone hurts you, you bite back. We'll be the law firm that bites back.
Dad, that's brilliant. Accident victims, call D'Agostino and Associates and bite back. Hey, we could even put a big vicious dog on billboards everywhere.
Yeah, and Rottweilers on buses.
Hey, how about a toll-free number?
What are you thinking?
You know, like 1-800-BITE-BACK.
1-800-BITE-BACK. That's brilliant.
But what if people hear fight back?
Easy. I'll spell it out for them, like 1-800-BITE, back. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Love it. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
All this talk about biting back got me hungry.
Me too. Want to grab lunch?
Sure. Hey, how about a jingle?
You mean like D'Agostino, law, bite back?
Columbus Day, traffic lighter than normal, but it's a lousy day with the weather and the rain and the wind. And make sure you keep those headlights on so people can see you. Southbound New York State Thruway, Pomona, it's a crash down by exit 15A, at least one lane closed. Palisades Parkway southbound by Route 202 at Mount Ivy, an accident. 80 in New Jersey, Elmwood Park, east and westbound tractor trailer on the divider. Eastbound 2 left lanes, westbound left lane closed between exits 60 and 61. Route 24 eastbound, now a crash coming into Route 78. And the FDR Drive downtown slow into the 70s. At the airports, arrival delays at LaGuardia up to 2 hours. Looks okay at JFK and Newark, but LaGuardia's got the big delays there. I'm Bob Williams on 880 ESPN New York.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
Honey, this is it. Shot clock winding down. Trailing by 2.
When you can't miss the last shot, and neither can he, don't take slow for an answer.
If Estrella shoots. Didn't see it coming.
Switch to Optimum Fiber, the fastest and most reliable fiber internet, starting at just $40 a month. Call 888-4-OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today.
What went through your head on the last shot?
It all happened so fast.
Optimum. Don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can change lives. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works, with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our fans get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp.com/timeout.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower and did an incredible, really an unbelievable job. They offer all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit done in just one day. Durable and easy to clean with no demo or mess and lower cost than a standard replacement. And a lifetime guarantee. Right now, no money down, no payments, no interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today like we did at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Jim Browski on our live chat over on the YouTube page. By the way, you can watch the show on YouTube at Bart and Carlin, ESPN New York's YouTube page. Go there, subscribe, rate, and review. And if you go there and do that, you see that Jim Browski chimed in with, imagine if Bart and Carlin got fired after 6 shows. Actually, we kind of did at one point. So I just want to point that out.
Were you 0-6, though? I mean, let's be fair.
We lost by 1/10 of a point.
So you were like 3-3 and lost on a tiebreaker.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. Anyway,
common opponents did you in.
800-919-3776. And they brought back, well, they didn't bring back Kotite, but they brought back Bruce Coslett. Anyway, Ira in Staten Island is up first. How you doing, my man? Ira.
Hello, Ira.
Oh, please don't tell me today's the
Did you
day
punch
the
him
phones
up?
aren't working.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah.
What am I, a neophyte?
Well.
Did you punch him up?
We were having problems with the phones yesterday, as a matter of fact, in the post game.
But I think that was on another station.
Different state, but I'm just saying, maybe it's like a city,
Maybe
but
it's
it is in
Ira.
the city, so maybe it's a citywide problem. I don't know.
Let me try Subi in Midtown and see what happens there. Subi, are you there?
Yes, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with.
Well,
Woody
you
Johnson
go ahead then.
Yes, with Woody Johnson owning this team, does he think that the players are listening to Aaron Glenn on offense and defense? And another thing, what does it say when Joe Flacco can deliver, perfect passes to Jamar Chase? We know he's a good receiver, but he can deliver those passes, whereas Justin Fields can, and he's 42 years old. So what does it say when we have ex-football players who are over 40?
Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, let's not forget,
Yeah,
he could
he's
throw
also
the ball,
42.
but he can't move,
He's
and he's 40.
He's 42, but he's been in the league forever. And from what I gather, at 42, at least maybe in my case, but not many others, you don't lose intelligence.
Not intelligence. You don't lose your arm.
Intelligence isn't the right word. I shouldn't say intelligence.
Why
Processing.
did they get rid of those players? What are
you talking about? Why did they get rid of Justin Fields?
Oh, Flacco and Rodgers. Why did they get rid of quarterbacks who?
They got rid
of. Stop. Oh my God. That call went on way longer than it should have.
Oh,
Stop.
Really? It's just, come on, dude. Really?
You remember in 2005, another great season in franchise history. I think they went 4-12 or maybe 5-11. But that was a year that had expectations. Their depth chart at quarterback member was Pennington and Jay Fiedler. Week 3 against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, both guys suffered season-ending injuries in the same quarter. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Vaguely.
Okay? Pennington and Fiedler, done for the season, same game. Brooks Bollinger, who was the third stringer, the kid from Wisconsin, he got a start the next week in Baltimore against that Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs defense. He looked like scared you-know-what and played like it.
Yeah.
They came back home for the next week against Tampa Bay, Gruden's Tampa Bay. They called Vinny Testaverde off the couch. He was thought to be done. He was 42. Vinny came off the couch, won him a game.
Yep.
Because at 42, if you're still in good shape, Vinny had a rocket arm. He could throw the ball. And it lasted about 1 week, and then, you saw why he's 42. He doesn't play.
Yeah.
A guy like Flacco could throw the ball, but you don't want him to be your starting quarterback.
And at least he can see the field somewhat, and he's going to give guys a chance to go make a play, but he's going to throw picks.
And it's not like Cincinnati, the day after Joe Burrow got hurt, said, we got to go trade for Joe Flacco. They tried the Jake Browning thing for 3-4 games, and we're like, you know what? This ain't working. Got to try something else, and that's why they tried Flacco.
It's such the worst thing that can happen right now is apathy, and it's just been an apathetic 20 years. It's been 15. It's been an apathetic 15 years. Last week, my brother Dan calls me up. He comes in and out of the city all the time, and he's got this guy who drives this van from Westchester down to the city, the Cape Air van, a guy named David Jarvis. And he calls me. He's like, can you say this guy's a big fan, listens to the show? I'm like, sure. We talked to him. And we're going for a minute. I'm like, what kind of fan are you? And he's going through it. And finally, I just say, so what do you think about the Jets? Dead silence. Just dead silence for a good 10 seconds. He's like, I don't know, man. I'm trying. Like, it's just, it sucks the ever-loving life out of you. And I don't know how you deal with it when you hear the same thing year in and year out. And we could say it's not the same old Jets thing. It's a lot of the same old traits that keep showing up. Like when I hear it, like I can't stand it when a coach says, a guy's playing poorly and nobody knows that better than him. So what? Yeah, he knows he sucks. Is that supposed to make me feel any better?
Right.
About how things are going? He knows it. Good for him. Good for him.
But it's like you said, there's so much, and then you get a game like yesterday where I might have even said it in the post game, but it's like 9 sacks. You think ordinarily 9? I mean, Denver's a good defense. They're not the 85 Bears.
Yeah,
they're not the 85 Bears. Those were self-inflicted wounds yesterday.
Yep.
And like I said, for whatever the reason, if it ain't working, you know what? You find another alternative. That's why you have another quarterback. Justin Fields, God love the guy, and on a human level, I think the world of him. He is an unbelievable human being. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but really and truly.
No.
I mean, as you understand the NFL in our society, professional sports, like the NFL is king, right?
Yep.
The starting quarterback is almost like a pseudo-celebrity if you hold one of those 32 positions in the NFL. So he is a quote-unquote celebrity figure. He is as down-to-earth on a one-on-one level. A lot of these quarterbacks, and for those that aren't in locker rooms and don't cover teams, just to give you a little, behind the curtain, more often than not, starting quarterback talks 1 day a week.
Yep.
Okay, it's usually Wednesdays whenever he's at the podium because everybody wants to talk to the quarterback. Also, in most instances, the starting quarterback on the day he's not talking is nowhere to be found in the locker room. Like, they hide. They're in the training room, they're doing whatever, so they're not visible, so they can't be approached. Justin Fields sits in his locker every single day as if he was nothing, like he could be a special teamer and just sitting in his locker looking at his phone as if, nobody's going to even go up and talk to him. Like, he's approachable. He's accessible. He doesn't hide from anything. You know what I'm saying? So I admire that about him. But the fact of the matter is, and he'll be the first one to say it, he said it after the game last night, he can't play like he did yesterday and expect that to just be tolerated.
No. Bart Carlin, 880 ESPN, ESPN New York, and on the ESPN New York YouTube page, where we'll take your comments as well. But the phone lines are lit up at 800-919-3776. We'll get into more of them. We're going to talk more next hour, too, just about the grand state of all of this. And when you look around the league, where exactly the situation ranks in terms of direness, because it's not just about wins and losses right now. It's about what's coming as well. It's Bart Carlin on ESPN New York and the ESPN New York app.
This is DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Fields avoids the sack until he can't.
I want off the ride. I want off. We put ourselves in this hole. We're 0-6, but we're going to continue to work and get better.
I can't take it anymore, man.
I hate him. I hate him. You do.
I mean, this is something you're supposed to enjoy and brings me nothing. Zero enjoyment.
I mean, I'm still pissed. I don't like to lose. It's very frustrating. I hate losing, and to not crack 100 yards total is kind of crazy.
Got to keep going. I mean, there's no other option. We have to keep fighting off. We got to keep building on the positive that we've shown.
Morning Start with DiPietro and Rothenberg. Weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
There's nothing the voice in our head obsesses over like our health. But with over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help answer the questions like, why am I so tired all the time? How can I get better sleep? My friend was telling me about magnesium gummies she takes. Know if my heart is work stress affected? It's time to up my cardio. If my mom has something, how will I find out? It's time to get some blood work done. A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
Out here, days are getting a little cooler, and mornings are starting with a few more layers. It's the season for more time at the grill, more feed for your animals. Heaters burn late into the night, and the woods start calling your name. We appreciate hard-working hands, shared moments, and love for our land. That's why season after season, we're here for your life out here. Tractor Supply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
To consistently win, I do know this. There has to be improvement. And to me, I saw improvement within that game. Does that mean that we're going to go on this deal of winning every one of our games? No, but I know this. It gives us a better chance to win. I know everybody wants to win, but no one wants to go through the hard stuff. And that's what we're going through right now. We're going through the hard times to put ourselves in positions to win. So I have all the confidence in the world in this team. I have all the confidence in the world in this coaches. I have confidence in myself. And I'm not going to waver not one bit.
I wouldn't expect them to, and that's all fine and good, but the words right now are just, they are complete word salads. It doesn't matter what comes from Aaron Glenn these days. 800-919-3776. It's Bart Carlin. Dan Grassa is in for Bart on ESPN New York. Let's continue back to the phones. Let's hit Artie in Brooklyn next on ESPN New York. Artie, what's going on?
I hope you guys don't get mad at me, because what do you want Glenn to say actually at 0-6? Here's the thing. I was 1 second away from winning the survivor pool if Wilson held on to that ball. Now time out.
Artie, I'm going to let you finish. I'm not going to get mad or anything, okay? Yeah. I'm not going to get on Garrett Wilson for not holding onto the football that should have been thrown 2 seconds earlier. And if it was, he would have been getting the first down and he would have been out of bounds. So let's not even start with that.
Right.
I'll turn my mic on. That might help. Real quick. Hey, Art, you know what? And that pass, too, he's lucky that wasn't a hospital ball.
He almost got him. He got his clock.
He almost got decapitated, too, because the guy's trying to make a play. I forgot who the defender was. He was trying to make a play on the ball, but Garrett Wilson's going down right in the path of where his head was. He could have got destroyed.
I got that, too. I got all that. Just like the Steeler game where he got destroyed and he should have had the ball, whatever. I got that. But you know what? I'm watching the 49ers, and I see, what's-his-name, overthrow the guy, and he makes this spectacular. I'm just saying that it could have turned around. What I'm saying is that you could pinpoint to everything, but to pinpoint on one thing, it's not. You could use the offensive.
You don't think yesterday they lost because of the quarterback?
The quarterback? Yes.
Yeah, no, 100%. That is the one thing yesterday that cost them the entire game. The quarterback was god-awful. God-awful.
I got it.
Okay.
But the thing is, from the first minute that they signed him, you got all those reports Chicago and Pittsburgh, and you're trying to develop him. Let me ask you something else. If this kid is a rookie, because you've got to treat him like a rookie.
No, you
right?
don't. No, you
If
do
he's
not.
making the same
No, you don't.
No,
You know
you don't.
why? Because I gave him $40 million. That's why I don't have to treat
And
him
not
like
only
a rookie.
that, Art, if he's a rookie, you're patient, you're running it back for another year or two. You could cut ties at the end of the season. The way the contract is structured, he could be gone after next year, and he probably will be.
Yeah,
He probably will be.
It's not you treat him like a rookie. Absolutely not. Because you have to ask the question after a few years. I'm not going to argue that it's unfair that he's had 3 and 4 different offensive coordinators, whatever. At some point, you have to ask the question, is this just what you are? And the answer is a resounding yes.
You know what the problem is, too, yesterday? What's so frustrating, that you couldn't find a way to even eke out to yuck it up, if you will, right?
Yeah.
To yuck up an ugly victory. All the things that have been plaguing this team all season long. It was an epidemic. The penalties. You only had 2 penalties yesterday, and they weren't costly in any way.
Yeah.
You didn't force a turnover all season. You forced a turnover finally, third play of the game. You didn't turn the ball over at all. So you win the turnover battle. You only committed 2 penalties. Your defense played like the defense used to play when Saleh was here. All the good times with that side of the football. Defenses looked by far, like that defense looked so good yesterday. I'm like, hey, Steve Wilkes, give him a 5-year extension. That's how good that defense looked. And you still don't lose. You still don't win the game because your offense goes out there and all they could put up are 3 field goals. 3 field goals, and the quarterback gets sacked 9 times. You know what I mean? It's almost like it rains, it pours. Complimentary football. You had 2/3 of your football team play at an exceptionally high level, and it still wasn't good enough. That, to me, if I'm in the room, that's what's deflating.
Vinny, Staten Island next. ESPN New York. Vincenz.
What's going on, guys? Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hello, Vincent.
You guys just still don't get it. No quarterback is going to come in here and play well with bad coaching. You have to get a good coach. The Jets schemes are terrible. No, you're not going to get consistent play until you get a good coach like Sam Darnold got, like Matt Jones is getting now, like Daniel Jones is getting. Justin Fields is a good quarterback. He can run. They're not putting him in the proper positions to be good.
Vinny.
No.
Okay. Why did Mike Tomlin bench him when they were 4-2 and winning games?
For Russell Wilson.
And I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again because I told you I like him personally
of course.
A lot. Okay? But anybody who wants to come at us with what Vinny just said, I'm going to give you another number, and these are cold, hard, black and white facts. Okay? I'm not making these up. Justin Fields' record as a starting quarterback. Again, we're not talking about a guy who's his first or second year player. It's his 5th year. He's 0-26 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. By the way, in a league that is rooted on what now? Offense. Scoring points. The rules are tailored to scoring points. Touchbacks, you get the ball basically at the 40-yard line. You only got to move the ball 20 yards to get an opportunity to put points on the board.
He's 0-26 when?
He's 0-26 as a starting quarterback when the opponent scores 21 or more points. I'm not saying 31 points or 40 points. He has not won a game as a starting quarterback when the opposition has scored 21.
In other words, he does not win games when the opposition plays average offense. At best, average. And this yesterday, if you think they're not putting him in places to be successful, that offensive line, Dan gave it to you earlier, had on average on those 9 sacks, 4 seconds to throw the ball.
There was a play yesterday, and again, they all ran right into one another, so you kind of forgot. I haven't gone back and watched the tape again. I couldn't. Okay, I'm sure I will over the next couple of days. I haven't yet. I don't remember what half it was, but it stood out to me. And you can watch this on the TV copy because that's all we had yesterday. There was a play, and I think it was a sack, where when the play was over, Armand Membu, who's a rookie, great kid, by the way, and who's played at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like they got that one right. He turned around, okay, like the play went down, he turned around and basically screamed as if he was getting revved up for a fight or something. That could be interpreted a million different things, But I looked at that as saying, you know what, that's an offensive lineman who went out there and is busting his you-know-what, trying to keep, 250-pound heat-seeking missiles off the quarterback. And again, the play ends up like all the other ones do with the quarterback at the bottom of a pile.
You have to be standing there as an offensive line at times and see your guy get hit with your back to everything that's going on and see your guy get hit sometimes like yesterday and be like, what?
Yeah.
How does that happen? It's Bart Carlin, Grassa in for Bart, ESPN New York. Next hour, Field Yates is going to join us. Why? Because we have to look at the big picture, too, at some point here and figure out what the options are going to be at quarterback because that's not looking great. And the Jets are going to be in that position to take one.
Surprise you?
That this many quarterbacks have fallen off the radar in the first round compared to where we were?
Yeah, leave it to typical Jet luck, right? To where, remember last year, the excuse for not taking a quarterback in the draft was, well, it's not a great quarterback class. Yeah. Next year is the one.
Yeah.
The 26th draft, that quarterback class is going to be loaded, and everybody thought you should tank because Arch Manning was going to be the guy, which, as we know, that's not going to be the case. But now it looks like they're in position to maybe have the number one overall pick in a year where you do not have a slam-dunk, franchise-altering savior that's going to walk in the door.
I hate the whole thing about same old Jets, but sometimes things become more and more difficult to fight against. 880 ESPN New York, ESPN New York app.
Season, the best time of the year. You should be out there tailgating, cheering on your team, and enjoying every Sunday. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. You don't have to live like that. There's help. Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain is New Jersey's top pain specialist. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, and is dedicated to helping you get back in the game. Here's what makes the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical image-guided procedures that deliver real results. Dr. Shaw treats neck pain, back pain, joint pain, migraines, nerve pain, and sciatica with a plan that's customized for you. Same-day and next-day appointments are available, and with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, relief is always close. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Visit SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Most major insurances are accepted. That's SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Did you know women account for 2/3 of all Americans living with Alzheimer's and 2/3 of all Alzheimer's family caregivers? Join the Alzheimer's Foundation of America at its Women Empowerment Forum on November 5th in Amityville to learn practical ways women can reduce their risk for Alzheimer's and enhance quality of life for themselves and their loved ones living with Alzheimer's. For more information or to register, visit alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bath Fitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement. Plus, a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments, or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
Dropped right down the chimney by Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson, and the Jets have the lead. Be at MetLife Stadium for the Jets and the Panthers on Sunday, October 19th at 1 p.m., presented by JetBlue. Get to the game early and secure the game giveaway, a JetBlue Jets plane magnet while supplies last. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next-day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
I'm curious as to what the general thought process is moving forward now, because when you look at the situation, Johnny Pickham's, John Winthrop today, our program director, a fearless leader.
I don't think I've ever heard that before. Johnny Pickham's?
Yeah. Bart makes him nicknamed him Johnny Pickham's because I think he used to do some picks on Bart and Hahn.
Interesting.
Is that accurate?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that is accurate according to Ray Dinahan. By his head shake, yes, that is accurate. Listen, the question would be, how far away would they be? Like, what is their actual position now going into the offseason into next year? Because if you're in a position where you're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, which they are, if they statistically the worst in not winning a game, and then you're going to go into an offseason where there may not be the quarterback that you need there to be in the draft, exactly how are you supposed to work toward the future at all? You've spent some of the money that you would for the long term investing in guys that you believe are part of the solution. But right now, as much talent as we have talked about there being on the team, do we have to start to reevaluate some of that and say maybe there isn't? Or is it all just simply about one thing that has put them in this position this year, and the situation is not nearly as dire as that would suggest?
I honestly don't think it's – look, you're 0-6. It's bad. But
the talent-wise, we've talked about this.
There's talent. You got a lot of guys in that room who are either Pro Bowlers, All Pros on their, the back of their cards, on their resumes, right? I mean, they've got ability. So then you always point to the coaching. And truth be told, the Kool-Aid that we were drinking all summer long, Kool-Aid refreshing in the summer, right? Depending on the flavor, nice Kool-Aid.
I was always annoyed that as a kid I was never allowed Kool-Aid, believe it or not. Maybe that's why I'm the way I am, because I've rebelled so hard.
So this is a Kool-Aid rebellion?
Apparently.
Interesting.
I mean, I haven't had it in a while, but, I mean, nothing. And I'll also say this. There aren't many things that really make me smile more than the Kool-Aid Man.
He's great. He's timeless, is what he is.
When he busts through a wall.
If he busted through this wall right now,
my day would be made.
Kool-Aid guy.
You are awesome.
You would feel the brunt of it, though, because it's coming right behind you. You might get...
You know what? I'll deal with it.
Yeah, just
that's
for the
fine.
Entertainment factor.
Have you ever not smiled when the Kool-Aid Man has come through a wall?
Never. A cameo by the Kool-Aid guy. Or maybe he comes through the control room. Anyway.
I'll tell you, Kool-Aid got such a bad rap with that whole Jonestown thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say a bad marketing.
That's true. But anyway, what we were saying all summer was last year it was a disaster, right? They weren't coached very well. Jeff Ulbrich was in over his head
Jim
as
Jones
the interim coach.
Crystal Light. That couldn't have killed him.
Do they still have Crystal Light?
I don't know if they do or not. I don't even know if they had it back
Ray,
then.
is Crystal Light still in business? Are they still operational? Can we look that up?
I feel like they are.
They are? Crystal Light iced teas, lemonades, that sort of thing?
Yeah, Jim Jones couldn't pick an iced tea?
I guess not. Unless he was a Snapple guy.
I'm an idiot.
I don't know. But, we thought talent, it's not like this cupboard is bare, right? They just weren't guided properly last season. So you bring these guys back, you coach them well, you eliminate the mistakes, you don't beat yourself, and you're going to win your share of football games. You know what the problem was, though? Not including yesterday, it's been all penalties. It's been all self-inflicted wounds. It's been the turnovers. It's been all those things. So that part hasn't been cleaned up. And that's what makes yesterday so frustrating, is that even if you were, I can't believe I'm going to say this, even if the offense yesterday was below average, they would have won a game.
Yeah.
Because if they kicked the field goal yesterday and they won 14-13, you look at that offense and say, my God, 4 field goals, and then the defense got you a safety.
On a holding call.
On a holding call in the end zone.
Yeah.
Right? That's below average offense. And you look at the statistics, net yards 82, that's below average. That's bad. But you still almost won a football game.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. And that's I'm sitting there yesterday trying to talk myself into, because we're in this thing for the long haul. We still got 11 more games here.
Yeah.
At least I do. Win an ugly game. All right, you get one. You look at the schedule. Carolina, Cincinnati with a 50-year-old quarterback. You got Cleveland, and you're saying to yourself, all right, there's some opportunities to maybe reel off some wins down the road to where you can make this palatable.
Give you a reason. That's all. Give me a reason. That's it.
And you didn't get a reason.
Not whatsoever.
Nope.
How bad so you don't think it's that bad? I don't think.
No, I mean, well.
No,
look.
I'm not saying that you're trying to sugarcoat it. You have not been at all.
I'm not selling you the used car with 3 tires.
But we're talking about where they actually are moving into next season in the grand scheme with the talent on the roster. They're not. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are in as bad of a situation as the New Orleans Saints are. I think the Saints are in a horrible situation, a team that this year is trying to get a lot of dead wood off the cap and just dealing with it going into next year. And, I think the Saints are years away. I theoretically should not think the Jets are years away, but I'm starting to come back, not necessarily off yesterday, but off of what I've seen so far and question, are the guys that I thought were really pretty good players maybe just not that good anymore?
Well, you got to get a quarterback. We know that. Okay, so and that's the hardest part. All these teams that are on the right track, they got a quarterback. And we are not going to know about Aaron Glenn as a head coach, even though it doesn't look very good right now. But ultimately, what's going to make or break, and this is before 0-6, by the way. We could go back to July and August. What ultimately is going to make or break Darren Muji / Aaron Glenn and their tenures with this team is if they get the quarterback or not. If they don't, they're going to go by the wayside with all these other names that are just become footnotes in Jets lore.
Well, it's why Joe Douglas is not here.
Right.
If that talent that he acquired was, in fact, pretty good and they developed it well, and they just paid a couple of the big ones that he got, then the only reason he's here is because he got the quarterback wrong. He got it dead wrong with Zach Wilson. That's it.
And they decided to move on from Sam Darnold. And look, it wasn't working here with Sam. We know that. Okay, but Joe didn't even pick Sam. That was a Mike McCagnon pick,
no,
right?
Where the you brought this up earlier off the air, so I'll give you credit for it. Where they probably made the biggest mistake there is when they decided to pick Zach Wilson. It was the COVID year when you had so much less access to people, and I wonder if that would have changed it, because I remember talking to people around the organization right around the draft that year. In fact, it might have been day of, and one of them said to me, don't expect us to pick or to make any trades of any picks for next year right now, because those picks right now are much more valuable because they have a lot more information in them.
100%. It was 100%. I mean, and people forget, too, it's easy to just dump on the Jets. But let's not forget the San Francisco 49ers, who are a pretty well-thought-of organization, right? They traded all the way up to get Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And they had their eyes on Zach Wilson, too. But people forget about the Trey Lance debacle for the Niners. Why? Because they lucked into Brock Purdy with the last pick in the draft. They lucked into him.
I can give you 4 and 5 things that did not happen for the Philadelphia Eagles that if they had, Howie Roseman would be out of a job. Including Zach Wilson.
Howie Roseman, let's not forget, was basically moved to the boiler room when Chip Kelly was there.
Yeah.
They moved him down to Storage B because Chip Kelly, Jeffrey Lurie gave him the keys to the entire operation. And then once he realized, boy, this ain't working out, and he booted Chip Kelly out of the door, then he walks down to the storage room, pulls Howie Roseman back and saying, okay, you're in charge again.
Hey, my stapler.
Right?
Like he's Milton.
Swing
no
line.
Office Space.
The swing line.
David and Elizabeth is next on ESPN New York. David, what's going on?
Grassa, big fella. What's going on, fella?
What's up,
How
Dave?
you doing?
I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. This is a new low, fellas. This is a new low. I know we stink and, we're not playing good football, but it's bad, man. It's real bad. It's so bad that it's like the only thing I can look forward to, like I was telling you guys, is Mel Kiper. Like, everybody looks lost. The only positive I see is, like, the offensive coordinator, Engstrom. And then Justin Fields' play is so bad, it makes Engstrom look bad. It makes him look bad in the play. So, I don't know. It's just terrible, man. I'm shot inside, dude. Like, all I can do now is just, I enjoy NFL football and sports, and I just got to wait till MSG opens up. That's it for me, bro.
See, here's the problem, David, and you can hear it in your voice. Your spirit is broken because there is nothing worse than being bad and boring. And when offensively, you know what the outcome is going to be. And as you were talking about earlier with your wife, you're watching the game last night, and you see them complete a 10-yard out. Why do things that look so easy for other teams look so hard for the Jets? When you are at that point of just being awful offensively, that's what makes it unwatchable, at least for me. That's what makes it unwatchable.
Well, I mean, like, things that should be easy. Like, we even brought this up yesterday in the postgame show, and Greg and I kind of went back and forth with one another over it. I can't remember. I mean, maybe it happened once. I'm not sure. I got to go back and look at it. They don't have a screen element to their offense. Like a simple screenplay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they've executed one of those all season long. And you would think that is as rudimentary as there is in offense. And that can spring, if you hit it properly, if you get the ball in the right person's hands, that could spring you 15, 20 yards easy. Easy. If you get the defense in a mismatch. You got guys on this team. Breece Hall, hit him on a screen. Get him out in the open field. I can remember once upon a time Breece Hall out in the open field would go for big home run gains. Haven't seen a lot of that lately. Throw a quick flat or a smoke screen to Garrett Wilson. Boom. Try to see if you can break one on the outside. We don't see any of that stuff, and I wonder why. I really and truly don't know.
Ben is next, listening on the ESPN New York app. Ben, what's going on?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So, I wanted to just chime in real quick on Aaron Glenn, and he's in a catch-22 situation, and I also think the goalpost does get moved week after week because what we saw yesterday was very different from the first 5 weeks. Obviously, you mentioned the penalties. You also, the O-line was very good. The defense was outstanding, and special teams was good as well. So, obviously, it highlights Justin Fields, just how bad he really was because, I think I also understand not switching quarterbacks at halftime. I support the move only because we've seen Justin Fields do some good things late in games, albeit it could be garbage time, yes, but he did some things late in games, and he's always one play away from busting out a huge run. That's all they needed yesterday, and I just think it was fair for Aaron Glenn to leave Justin Fields in if they're going to have their first chance at a win, to let the quarterback that they gave the 2-year contract have that opportunity. So all things told, I think the coach did make a couple of mistakes last two minutes in the second and fourth quarters. But overall, I don't know. The team looked better yesterday, so I don't really know how anyone can totally kill Aaron Glenn based off yesterday's game.
Well, because sometimes, Ben, you have to make you got to make a million decisions in a game as a head coach. Not just cut and dry one thing or the other. You have to coach the entire team. And Aaron Glenn reminded everybody from his opening press conference throughout the offseason, he does not want to be looked at as what? A defensive coach, right? He is a head coach. And he made that a priority, and he credited Dan Campbell for even, including him on certain head coach tasks, even when he was with Detroit, to kind of prepare him for this. Yesterday, as the head coach of the team, you got an offense which didn't even look like it was community college level. And it's up to you as the head coach of the team to make a decision to help get your team out of that rut. It's not schematically. There was nothing they were going to do, X's and O's, or a player personnel substitution that would have helped things. There was one, and he decided not to do it.
And didn't even really consider it, and has pretty much doubled down on it for this coming week.
And what Ben just said about, Justin Fields has done some good things in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter when the games were over.
Yeah.
I'll repeat it again. They have not scored a touchdown, whether it's Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields at quarterback, in the first 3 quarters of a football game, which is 45 minutes of the game clock since week 1. You can't allow a game to get out of hand because guess what? Even when this team was 0-0, the way the roster was constructed offensively, we said what? This is not a high-octane offense that is adept at playing from behind.
And I can't.
They're going to ground and pound you. That's their formula to win.
I can't listen to what he has to say about yesterday, too. You didn't give Justin Fields chances? You gave him the chances in the fourth quarter yesterday? You didn't give him chances. You gave him every chance you could to throw the ball, and he got sacked 9 times. And it wasn't the offensive line's fault. I mean, I can easily say that at least 7 of those were not the offensive line's fault. At least 7. And so the guy has chances in the fourth quarter. You're giving him every opportunity by leaving him out there, and he's still sucking wind. What are you supposed to do? So to me, that's why I know it's just Tyrod Taylor. And I know we can sit there and say he's not much better. Well, you know what? Sometimes you get a spark. Sometimes it happens. And it doesn't mean, as Dan has said earlier, that you definitively have to make Tyrod Taylor your quarterback for the rest of the season.
No, not even next week. You go right back to Justin. It's not like, look, this isn't like Justin Fields is some institution with the New York Jets. You know, he's got 5 games under his belt as the Jet quarterback. He doesn't even have as much equity built up with the New York Jets as Zach Wilson did. Think about that. Or even Aaron Rodgers. And he was only here for 5 minutes. You know, it's not like he's promised anything. You're trying to win games. What Aaron Glenn and any head coach, I'm not just making this about Aaron Glenn, but a head coach in general, you know what their obligation is? To the entire locker room. To the entire 53 guys. Because if I'm a member of that, and look, I know the defense has been arguably as bad as there is in the NFL all season long before yesterday, right? And they'll be the first ones to tell you. But if I'm a member of that defense, and I'm sitting there yesterday saying, boy, this is familiar. If I've been on the Jets for a few years, we're out there doing our job. We're kicking butt. And yet the offense can't even get a first down. Where have I seen this before? Don't you owe it to those guys? To the rest of the team? Are you doing what you can do as a head coach to put the club in the best chance to achieve victory? Because that's what they want.
Let me give you some comments from the YouTube chat that are coming in right now. You can watch the show on YouTube, which you should be doing anyway, because who doesn't want to see this physically? Adrian, I don't believe in Justin Fields at all. He needs to sit. Jose from Brooklyn, I want the Jets to lose out right now. And then if I see one more of these coming in, and I've seen a bunch of them, this one's from Aton Tomlinson. Let's go next. I can't, guys. It's October. I legit had a Nick call on October 4th. And I blame the Yankees, and I obviously blame the Jets and the Giants. You can't sit here at this point in the year. I can't. I cannot get excited about basketball this early. I can't.
A week from Wednesday. I know you want to.
I do not care.
Who do they open against? I'm doing the game. I should know. Stand by, because it's bothering me.
You doing pre and post?
Yeah. Cleveland. I thought it was Cleveland. It's Cleveland.
All right.
Week from Wednesday. 33rd and 7th.
How many of the games you doing? Are you doing that all year?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to do mostly the Rangers.
What do we got to do to get O'Keefe out of the way?
Love Pat.
I know I do too. I'm kidding.
Love Pat. He does the Knicks. I do the Rangers.
Okay.
It'd be nice if the Rangers could score a goal at home, by the way.
What's going on
if
there?
They get around to that.
What's going on there?
It is in the rules. Like, you are allowed to.
You are?
You can score at home. Yes. 100%.
Can we check that? I don't know that I want to trust what you're saying on that.
I mean, in the bylaws of the National Hockey League, I do think somewhere that it says you can do those things.
Ira, Staten Island. Phone was out earlier. I don't know what the hell was going on, Ira. Nothing's going your way right now. What do you got?
Yeah, no, it's my bad, my phone. So, you're mentioning, I'm not going to get into all the coaching decisions and what happened yesterday. You could talk from now till the Panther game. But, not going to Taylor is the most head-scratcher, because if Parcells is supposed to be Aaron Glenn's mentor, how many times over the years did you see Parcells, when a quarterback doesn't have it, where he'll yank the guy and put somebody in? Doesn't mean he could lose his job. Sometimes it did lose a quarterback's job. But I remember a game specifically in '97. We're playing the Ravens at home. It's a pouring monsoon. O'Donnell was having a horrible game. And what does he do? He sticks Foley in there late fourth quarter, and they end up, the game went overtime. They won the game, however it played out. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And that was one of the biggest decisions that Glenn didn't make yesterday.
Well,
he did everything else.
Ira, what's the problem?
Sorry.
What's the problem today compared to then? It is the mentality of the player, unfortunately. And what I hate about this, I hate what I'm about to say. And again, not a guy that's a get off my lawn guy. Nobody's open to criticism anymore. So when you then take him out of the game, in Aaron Glenn's mind, what do? You open that door for all the public criticism of what's going to come and the controversy that's going to come with it. And I don't want to have a quarterback controversy between my two guys. I want to continue to let Justin Fields go out there and operate with confidence and all that stuff, as opposed to you're not getting it done, you don't play at the moment. That's it. I'll go back to you next week. I'll give you another opportunity next week. Right now, you're not getting it done. I got to go to somebody who does. That doesn't happen nearly as much. Think about that for a second, Dan. Like, when you think around the league, when quarterbacks get pulled out of a game right now, when does that happen? Happens in a blowout. Happens when you don't want a guy to get hurt. I don't remember very often, and maybe I'm just forgetting some obvious moments recently, but I don't remember very often in the last couple of years where you have seen just one quarterback get pulled for another quarterback because the first guy, in the middle of a game, because the first guy's not playing well. Because God forbid we have any kind of controversy.
Right, you'd have to rack your brains. And not only that, if God forbid it happens now, it just generates so much more noise than it used to back in the day.
Yeah, Bill just didn't care.
You know?
Yeah.
And not
that Aaron cares, but like you kind of have to.
But that's the common theme too, where you're also talking about like, okay, well, you know, he's a big proponent of Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells is like his football father.
Right.
Right? So like if he could resort to those tactics, then why wouldn't you? Now granted, it was, you know, I was referencing and I brought up, 1997. That was 28 years ago. That was a lifetime ago.
I remember the Detroit game at the end of that year when they brought Ray off the bench to play a quarterback in a couple of spots.
And then
Lucas.
they threw that halfback option with Leon Johnson that got picked off in the end zone, which, by the way, somebody posted that video a couple of weeks ago that I stumbled upon it on the timeline. And I mean, not to reopen old wounds again, but if you go back and watch that interception again, if that happened today, it wouldn't be an interception because it shouldn't have been an interception. The guy, I forgot who made the pick. He was out of bounds on his back when he corralled the ball. So like there was no instant replay in 1997.
Right.
If there was replay now, that was an incomplete pass, and they would have lived to see another day. And think about how history would have been altered possibly.
Was that they hadn't gone to replay at all yet, or was that they had gone to replay a couple of years, and then they went away from it again?
That was during
That's when that was?
Yes.
That lull in between?
No replay. And I'm like, wow. Because, yeah, that wouldn't have stood for, and it would have been, like, easy.
Yeah.
And I remember, because I watched the clip, like, Paul McGuire was doing the game.
Paul McGuire.
And Paul McGuire was, like, adamant, like, oh, that's an incomplete pass. Oh, yeah, it was rough. But nevertheless.
Bobby in Belmore. Bobby, what's up, dude?
Yeah, hi, how are you? Chris, first of all, the Jets offense scored 3 points yesterday, not 9. Because the kickoff return and the fumble led to the other 6. But let me just get to the coach. The most important decision of a coach on what he does in the first half and second half, he tries to fake the punt, and then he decides to stop playing, which is just unbelievable. It's such a contrast. And then the end of the second half, I really want to get to this. Yes, he did kick a 62-yard field goal, but which is a 4-yard difference between the 58-yarder he kicked 2 weeks ago. But they asked him at the press conference, why didn't you kick the field goal? He said, we had to get to the 35. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I graduated from elementary school. 35 plus 18 is 53, right?
Yeah.
So isn't that 5 yards less than the 58-yarder he kicked 2 weeks ago? So it just shows you that this guy's over his head. I understand Vince Lombardi and Parcells couldn't win with this quarterback because it's not in the 1970s anymore, or the 80s.
Two things. Number one, with Nick Folk, I'm not going to go nuts over not throwing him out there for a 62-yarder.
Not a 62-yarder, but and we talked about this yesterday. They're in constant communication with the kicker on the sidelines at the beginning of that drive. Nick, pregame warm-ups, second half warm-ups, what do you think you can make? What can you make? So he told them, 62, I'm not making it. And you heard Aaron Glenn say that 35 was the target line. Nick Folk probably told them, probably I'm good from 53.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. Now, this is another discussion, 2025 in the National Football League, where we're seeing dudes boot 65-yarders as if it's nothing. You know, why should the Jets be hamstrung by a 53-yard range if that's all that Nick Folk is comfortable doing? Maybe that's a problem. Maybe it's not.
Might have to do with conditions over there.
Conditions,
I don't know what the field's like. I don't know what any of that stuff is like.
That 58-yarder, remember, that was in Miami on that Monday night where it was hot, humid, disgusting. You know, you weren't talking about wind. I don't know how breezy it was yesterday, but it wasn't as humid as South Florida.
The ball does not hold up like it would.
Exactly.
So I'm not getting nuts over that. When you're talking about they're going to fake the punt and then let the clock run out on the half. Again, I'll explain this as best I can. They get so focused on this middle of the game stuff that they have to, at the very worst, end the half with the ball. And when you took the timeout before the third down and he completes the pass short of the first down, you have 4th and inches or 4th and a half yard, whatever it is. Are you going to just definitively go for it and then not get it in midfield and give Denver the football with a chance to go kick a field goal with 25 seconds left in the half? I actually understood what he was doing. You can there are a couple of ways to argue it, but I understood what he was doing. I'm not going to go nuts on that thing. I don't think that was as egregious as people have made it out to be.
Well, again, like you said, you emptied the tank, right? You emptied the tank with the fake punt, and then you just kind of took a knee. Throw a Hail Mary. Try something. Last play, a couple seconds left to where, there's only one or two options. It's either a catch or it's incomplete. That's it.
He did not trust his quarterback at all not to screw it up. That's what
now
it was.
Tom just said that when he met the media today, after a night to sleep on it or a transatlantic flight, he said that he wishes that he did try the Hail Mary.
All right, so here it is.
You know what? As I thought about that, I think the question was asked about the confusion part. When you look at it, man, it was the ref said first down, and that's when we were about to respect the ball. And someone else said, no, it's not. It's 4th down. And at that point, man, if we tried to run and play, I thought that's where real confusion is going to come from. So at that point, our staff had just talked about this the day before. And man, let's try to see if we can get 3, defer at the beginning of the game, try to get 3 points out of the halftime, then come back the second half and try to get points again. But you know what, to be honest with you, I wish I could have took the clock down to 5 seconds and just threw a Hail Mary, to be honest with you. But at that point, I want no confusion. Let's just get out the half, guys. We're getting the ball back the second half, and let's get ready to go.
So there you go. To your point, I wish I could have done that.
But this is about being a head coach in the league.
Yeah.
He's said it how many times? He's said it. The most important 8 minutes for a head coach. The last 4 of the first half, the last 4 of the second half. And this is a situation the next day where you're saying, boy, I should have, where most people that were watching it knew at the time that that's probably the thing you should at least try to do.
Bart Carlin on ESPN New York. Dan Grassa in for Bart in moments. So if the Jets are going to be at the bottom of the league the rest of the year, you have to start to think about the quarterback with as bad as it was yesterday, because we have our answer. But what does that mean in the draft? Because look around. This once deep quarterback draft thinning out a little bit. We'll discuss it with Field Yates next on ESPN New York and the ESPN New York app.
Monday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The Jets are now 0-6 on the season with a loss in London. How long will they stick with Justin Fields? Can it get any worse?
The reason why we didn't win this game offensively is just because we couldn't consistently throw it. Do we have a better option that can come in and actually throw a football? Yes, we do. Why not use it?
Because to him, that's a ridiculous question.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
1 in every 6 men is likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. That's why New York Presbyterian wants to remind men over 50 to book a prostate cancer screening. A simple blood test is all it takes. It could save your life. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester at locations near you. Schedule your annual prostate cancer screening today at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back. I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino, nicknamed The Closer, continuing D'Agostino and Associates' legacy of helping the injured for over 35 years. My father, John D'Agostino, built this injury firm to help accident victims.
This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-BITE BACK.
They call me The Closer because big or small, in court or out, I'm fighting to get the job done, to win, to get you every dollar you deserve.
D'Agostino and Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
I know you have something you want to share. I have a Christoph today, and it's, I guess the only way to put it is it could be graphic for later on.
Ooh.
Something happened yesterday that was just so alarming for me personally, and I felt somewhat violated.
Oh, my gosh.
And I will share that with you.
Anytime violation is thrown into the proceedings, you know that it, buckle up.
Yeah. Like I thought there was a moment yesterday where I thought I was being set up.
Does this involve air travel?
It does.
Oh, well,
I thought I was being set up at security.
The variable, like once you have air travel thrown into the equation, it's like all bets are off.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Well, this was new. This was a new one for even me. This was a new one. Anyway, Bart Carlin, ESPN New York. Our guy is Field Yates. He, of course, is ESPN NFL insider. He pretty much knows everything, and he joins us right now, including having the greatest hair in the world this side of Dan Grasso. What's going on, Field?
Not too much, my friend. Good to catch up with you. Hopefully we can bring a little bit of sunshine to an otherwise dreary Monday here in the Northeast.
Yes, it is. It is not good, and it's not good from a football standpoint. And this is the reason why we wanted to talk to you, Field, because there's been so much made about the quarterback class leading into this year and what it might look like this coming year. So we're sitting here with the Jets at 0-6, And Dan and I are trying to figure out exactly where this is all headed. We know that Justin Fields isn't the guy, but how the evaluations now are starting to take place on some of the quarterbacks. So first of all, has it dropped off as much as it seems to have publicly, where the level of quarterbacks and the amount of them that we would expect in the first round next year is not going to be anywhere near as deep as we thought?
I don't think it's totally dropped off. I think maybe, at least in my estimation, it's just been flipped on its head. Some of the names that we were talking about coming into the season are not part of the conversation right now, at least in the first round of the draft. I'm talking about Arch Manning. I'm talking about Drew Aller, whose college career is now over, by the way.
Yep.
After that injury suffered this past Saturday, what a weekend it was for Penn State for all the wrong reasons. Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, another guy we're not talking about in the same light. Lenore Sellers from South Carolina hasn't been great so far this year. We've got other players that have sort of risen to the top, and that includes Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore Jr. from Indiana and Oregon, respectively. If anybody watched that game this past Saturday, Indiana got a big win. Those two quarterbacks took center stage. So there are a few others, and the Jets, right now certainly feel like they're headed for a top 5 pick. Other teams that are headed for a top 5 pick are probably not going to be in the quarterback market. One team that comes to mind in that front would be the Titans. So there is going to be enough supply, I think, that if the Jets are in that top 5, it's all but a lock they will take a quarterback. It's a very, very different class, though, compared to what we thought it was going to be, call it 2.5 months ago.
Well, that's the thing, Field, right? We're always so quick to make these assumptions. Like even last year with the 25 draft, it was, well, if you don't want to take a quarterback this year, hold off because that 26 draft,
right,
the class is a lot deeper. I know we're only halfway through the regular season, but are you prepared to say right now that this is not going to be the draft if you need a quarterback to be sitting there with one of these top 2 or 3 picks? Is it too premature?
I think it's too premature there. What I would say is that there aren't as many options solidified right now as compared to where we thought they were going to be coming into the season. I like to think of the football seasons, all of them, the draft evaluation process is almost like a horse race, in the sense that someone can get out to a big lead, but until the race is over, it doesn't matter how far you lead by after the first turn. You might, by the second turn, be in second or third or fourth place. So people get mad. They say, how could you have a guy as your top-ranked quarterback 2 weeks ago, and now he's a third-ranked quarterback? Whether you want to call it a horse race or a stock market, I want to encourage people to understand that these things can change so much. Right now, the horse race looks like it's got at least 2 or 3 contenders to be taken early in the draft. Now, could that change? It certainly could change. There's no doubt that, a guy like Dante Moore, for example, from Oregon, who I mentioned, could be, in some people's eyes, the best quarterback in the draft. I know Mel Kiper has been calling him that. I've been a bigger fan of Fernando Mendoza, but both of those guys could return to school next year. I'm not saying they will, but they could. They both have eligibility. In the case of Moore, this is his first full season being a starter. So I'm not quite ready to say that this is a draft class where if you're picking early, you don't want to be a quarterback-needy team. I think the lesson that I have is the bird in hand scenario that the Titans faced last year, because there were a lot of people that said, should Tennessee really take Cam Ward, or could they just sort of hold their quarterback powder this year and then just get one of the better quarterback prospects a year from right now? I understand it has been a very ugly start for that Tennessee offense so far this season. I like what I have seen enough from Cam Ward to feel like, hey, if you like the guy, take the player you like, and don't assume that the following year's class is just going to be better, because so much changes from one year to the next.
Field Yates is with us, ESPN NFL insider, and of course, you know him from the Fantasy Focus podcast. Field, with the Jets, we have been talking about their roster at the moment. We came into this season not believing that this was a rebuild. They certainly were not trying to sell it as such. Is the Jets roster not as talented as we thought it was?
Yeah, I think so much of this comes down to quarterback play, guys. And Justin has some natural talents. I think Justin, when he has time and space, can throw the football somewhat effectively. The problem is, I just think Justin plays, I've used this analogy in recent days. So, you can listen to podcasts at 1.25 or 1.5 speed. I think that sometimes Justin needs to almost play the game like he's playing at 1.5 speed, because he's so deliberate in the pocket. That's why 9 sacks takes place. So the Jets roster is definitely not very good. But I think a lot of this comes down to, a passing offense that at the most important position in all of professional sports, at least in my estimation, it's just a problem. This is now the third separate team that Justin Fields has been on, and each time he's changed teams, one of the narratives that has followed him is that, with the right pieces around him, this is a high level quarterback. I'm just not so sure that that's the case with Justin. I think the answer is probably a lot closer to what we have seen so far, which is that he is not the kind of quarterback that you can win a lot of football games with and definitely not sustain a ton of success.
So despite the struggles, and we're talking with Field Yates here on ESPN New York, despite the struggles of yesterday and the fact that the team still hasn't won a football game this year, and they haven't scored a touchdown, Field, in the first 3 quarters since week 1 in a football game, do you agree with Aaron Glenn's assessment and his rationale for not benching him yesterday, even if it was for a temporary spark with Tyrod Taylor, in the sense that you're still in the information gathering stage, maybe, if you're the New York Jets, as to whether or not Fields could be something turned into positive?
Yeah, I think that, and I believe it was Kaz who asked the question yesterday, would you consider, Justin Fields to be under evaluation as not your starter anymore? And he was shut down by Aaron Glenn. I thought I was definitely Team Kaz in that situation. I think you have to ask the question. We're not talking about, a bad offense. We're talking about an extremely bad offense, one that is just entirely devoid of consistency. So, Justin's young enough where we have seen plenty of reclamation projects around the NFL recently, right? Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield being amongst the shining examples. But this is a 2-year contract he signed for this wasn't a 2-year, $80 million contract. It was a 2-year, $40 million deal with 30 guaranteed. We see teams make difficult decisions on players with hefty contracts all the time. So the Jets have to get a couple of wins here to validate. It's just hard to go into work every single day and say we're doing all the right things and we're building something here if you come out on Sunday and just lay an egg. So at some point, I think Tyrod Taylor should be a consideration for the Jets, if for no other reason than to give the locker room a chance to feel like, hey, maybe shaking things up a little bit will get us kind of going. The defense was much better yesterday. That was a defense that looked like last year's defense for much of the game yesterday. The offense needs some sort of spark. I would certainly have Tyrod Taylor on my list of considerations for the Jets.
Last one for me, Fields. So you mentioned that you like Mendoza. Mel's talked about more. Who should Jet fans be paying attention to, and what are the strengths of those guys that we've talked about? If there's anybody else in addition to those guys that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, so I don't want this to come across as, I don't want this to be scar tissue for Jets fans, but I think Fernando Mendoza has some Sam Darnold in him. And I'm talking about what you're seeing right now from Sam, and just like throwing frozen ropes. He's got ability to put the football at all levels. He's got just an absolute hose of an arm, does Mendoza. He's got good functional athletic ability. Not a statue back there, but not going to be a guy like Lamar Jackson. Dante Moore is a slightly more athletic, a smaller quarterback as well. Mendoza has very good size. Moore has really good twitch to him. He can kind of make defenders miss more subtly than these joystick-type quarterbacks, but a guy who has shown very good vertical passing accuracy so far this season. Wasn't perfect this past week against a very good Indiana defense, but definitely a guy who has boosted his stock a whole lot. Of those two, I think Mendoza is probably the better bet to declare after this season. They both certainly could come out, but if one of them were to return, it would probably be Dante Moore and not Mendoza. Lenora Sellers still on the radar here from South Carolina, a player who has immense physical talents. He is an extraordinary runner, has a big arm as a passer as well, but still has to be much more consistent in that regard to kind of find his rhythm at the next level.
All right, so Field, this leads me to my final question, and you brought up Sam, and we know that it's taken him a couple of stops to find the right situation that brought out the best football in him. Given the fact that there's no slam dunk, let's say, at the top of the draft that's going to completely transform a franchise, as you were saying, there isn't a guy necessarily who you would consider to be, or guys plug and play, no matter what system, what environment you put them in, they're going to be successful on the next level, correct? That's still TBD.
I don't think we have a guy in this process right now for the 2026 class that strikes me in that caliber of, obviously a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those kind of players change your franchise the minute that you acquire them, right? There's definitely not a guy that at this point has shown me enough to say with absolute confidence, we have one of those. So, but what I have also learned, and I think you guys can agree with this, is that even if a player isn't a slam dunk to become an MVP caliber player, quarterbacks go early because teams have to give themselves a chance. So I do think quarterbacks, even if this class stacks up a little bit less compared to maybe the 2024 class with Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May, we're still going to see at least a couple of quarterbacks go very high if they do declare for the draft.
Field, great stuff. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Take
Field.
care. Be well.
He is the best. He is Field Yates, ESPN NFL insider, and always so plugged in on the draft, plugged in on fantasy stuff, fantasy-focused podcast, and just about as good of a guy as there is. And so you want to pay a little more attention to Mendoza? Dante Moore's coming to Jersey this week. Oh, boy.
Are they going to have enough light bulbs in the scoreboard?
All right, listen, let's be positive.
I mean, you could be positive. I'm realistic. I mean,
Damon Williams had 500 yards of offense the other night. That guy was unbelievable.
16th player in FBS history to go for over 400 in the air and 100 on the ground in the same game. Yay us.
Well, I'll just give you this. At least it's a chance for people to watch Dante Moore if they want to. I am
scouting.
Yes. There was a time years ago where and it was during COVID, unfortunately, where I wanted to try to put together like a bus trip of Jet fans to go to a Clemson game and just wear like Trevor Lawrence green number 16 shirts and basically begging him, don't stay in school.
Right.
Come play for the Jets.
Were bus trips allowed then? Because that was the COVID year.
Well, that was the
problem.
problem.
You get on a bus?
They weren't.
Yeah, you couldn't get on a bus.
If that was about reason number 31 why that didn't come together. But something like that would have been something that I would have wanted to do.
No, you want to hear a little weird thing real quick that just kind of came down? I know it's kind of a little off topic, but it's been obviously things kind of askew for the Philadelphia Eagles of late.
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith, who was an all-pro once upon a time with the Packers, pass rusher. You know, he's been like a situational guy for them this year. Just retired.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. I'm done.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Wow.
So the people are jumping off the ship there in Philadelphia right now after this latest loss.
He doesn't want to be around the drama that bad?
Doesn't want to be around it. He's
wow.
good. He's good.
Bart and Carlin Grassa in for Bart. ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Just printed from the Erie Canal Press, the most coveted ticket, New York Lottery's $1 million raffle, hath arrived. 15 fortunate souls shall come into the fortune of a millionaire.
Translation, the $1 million raffle is here, and 15 winners are going to become millionaires. The New York Lottery commemorates 200 years of the Erie Canal with your best odds of winning $1 million. Limited tickets available. Ask your local retailer today. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bathfitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bathfitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement, plus a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bathfitter.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. so they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Honey, this is it. Shot clock winding down. Trailing by 2.
When you can't miss the last shot, and neither can he, don't take slow for an answer.
Pastrello shoots. Good to see it, Charlie.
Switch to Optimum Fiber, the fastest and most reliable fiber internet, starting at just $40 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today.
What went through your head on the last shot?
It all happened so fast. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Lease a new 2025 Mazda CX-30 2.5S all-wheel drive for $159 for 33 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for details. VIN SM841631, MSRP $26,980, 0 security deposit, and 1031.25.
Getting the right mattress helps you sleep at night. Getting the right price helps you sleep even better. At PC Richard & Son, they don't just sell you a mattress. Their experts use a 4-step fitting process to make sure your new bed fits you perfectly. The right fit, the right price, plus free delivery. It's what they do, only at PC Richard & Son. Free delivery on mattresses $199 and up. Excludes Manhattan. See stores for details.
Ballybet Sportsbook. Yo, Ballybet stacked for football season. When it comes to sportsbook apps, it's undefeated. Ballybet. Check out that brand new parlay zone. Here's the kickoff. Build your bets and place them right on your phone. What? Live bets, daily boosts, and promos. Increase your odds so you can win more dough. Touchdown! Ballybet's the play. Make game day more fun and download it today. Must be 21 plus, New York only. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. Ballybet, Sportsbook and Casino. Download it.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check if they're going for it on 4th down, before going to the concession stand.
Yeah, give me 3 hot dogs, 2 jumbo touchdown, baby! What?
Hey, buddy, you want cheese with those?
Yeah, checking first is smart.
No.
So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Knicks fans, opening night is a bounce pass away. Join ESPN New York's Don Hahn and Rosenberg live from 3 to 6:30 p.m. from Stout on West 33rd between 6th and 7th. Steps from the Garden. Get ready for the start of Knicks basketball.
Runs it off the dribble. He got it and one.
Be there for special guests, live Knicks talk, and opening night vibes before tip-off. We'll see you at Stout on West 33rd. Don Hahn and Rosenberg live from the Knicks home opener. Don't just listen, don't just watch. Be there.
I love schedule talk. Schedule talk's amazing. That
schedule talk?
Well,
that was a lot of talk.
That you were yesterday trying to. Well, if they get this, then you get Carolina, you get the Bengals. Maybe
I said,
this.
well, I admitted to that, right? I said, I was like, and I think a lot of fans were like that, right? If you're in it for the long haul, you're like, well, you win an ugly game, and then you look at the schedule and say, well, Carolina, and then no.
So what happened yesterday?
Away from work.
What happened?
Hit the music, Tom. So, because this is right out of the show. You mentioned it, early game, London, right? Yeah. Up early, dark out, driving, cruise into the city.
Oh.
Cruise.
Is there a better feeling?
It made the tired, fatigue, all that stuff go out the door because you're coming in, nobody's on the road.
Yep.
Still couldn't find a street spot, though. Had to put the car in the garage. Okay, fine. I pulled. It's 6:30 in the morning. Easy. Thank you. Goodbye. We've worked and spent time in the city long enough, and anybody listening right now who works in the city or knows about the city, is familiar with, if you use the parking garage, any parking garage, they have this thing called the early bird, right?
Sure.
You get in early in the morning, you get a nice old discounted rate, which is supposed to
I didn't even know they had that on the weekend.
They have it every day, 7 days a week.
I thought it was just Monday through Friday.
Except the day of the Thanksgiving parade. It seems like they take that away if you got to be in for that because they know that's how they get you. Anyway, so I do the early bird. Whatever. We go in, we do the show, 13-11, 9 sacks, whatever. Post-game done, Greg and I walking out. We used the same garage. Walk in, I'm thinking, all right, this ain't going to be that bad. At least I got in early, right? Give him the receipt, gives it back to me. I see the number pop up on the screen, $65.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, $65? I pulled in at 6:30 this morning. That's the early bird? I said, no. The early bird starts at 7. I said, wait a second. You're telling me that I was too early for the early bird. The purpose of the early bird is to be early. How can you be too early for the early bird?
So with that in mind, so you're telling me if I went to IHOP or Denny's for dinner,
yes,
and I showed up at 3:45 instead of 4 o'clock, I got to pay more because I beat the early bird, therefore no benefit to the early bird.
So you mean to tell me on the weekend, your early bird starts at 7, I pull in at 6:30, not like I pulled in at 4:30. I pulled in at 6:30, and it might have even been like 6:31 or 6:32. So I'm like within the half an hour range of being early to get the cheaper rate, but I'm penalized because I was too early.
So here's what I would find even funnier. Did you and Bottle went to the same garage?
Same garage.
I'm just going to guess that Bottle perhaps did not get there until after 7.
No, we actually, believe it or not, he pulled in like right after me.
Oh, okay.
I was hitting the button for the elevator to go up to the street level, and then he comes driving in, so I waited for him. We pulled in at exactly the same time.
Well, like, put it this way. In my case, if that had been me and Bart, I would have been paying the $65, and Bart, for showing up later, would have been paying $18.
Oh,
no, $18.
for the early bird, yeah.
He would have gotten the early bird for showing up late.
Right, so it's like I would have actually been rewarded for the lack of punctuality or for the lack of getting there early. I mean, I couldn't believe that. So think about it. The early bird, you can actually suffer for being too early.
That's just fundamentally wrong.
You can't make that up.
No. How long did you have the discussion? How long did you press the issue?
Well, I realized that I don't think it was computing with the guy at the garage. There was a lot of laughter on his end. Maybe that was to minimize the awkwardness, between the glass or whatever.
Yeah.
But whatever. Because I know that that's an argument I'm not going to win. Look, he's got the key to my car.
Right.
So
You lose.
I lose because I can't go back there.
He can tell you, you know what, 130.
Right, and there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want a situation. That's happened before. So I know the only way that I'm getting, and the one thing that I wanted to do at that point after sitting through 9 sacks and 13-11, I wanted to go home. I wanted to get out of the city because people, even if there's a nor'easter coming, they still go to the city in droves on a Sunday afternoon. I wanted to get the hell out at 2:30 or whatever time it was and then enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I was only getting that opportunity if I tapped the credit card on the machine.
So you didn't get the early bird, but you got the double bird.
I got the double bird. I got the whatever else you want to call it. A lot of birds. I got the whole flock of seagulls.
Bart Carlin, ESPN New York.
Did you know women account for 2/3 of all Americans living with Alzheimer's and 2/3 of all Alzheimer's family caregivers? Join the Alzheimer's Foundation of America at its Women Empowerment Forum on November 5th in Amityville to learn practical ways women can reduce their risk for Alzheimer's and enhance quality of life for themselves and their loved ones living with Alzheimer's. For more information or to register, visit alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Hey, this is Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson for three.
And this is your home for New York Knicks basketball. This is 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown!
Yes! Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
They say a full marathon is the ultimate test. For me, it's more than a race. It's a milestone I once thought impossible. Michelle Smallman here, and I'm running my very first marathon in New York City with the support of Gainbridge and Gainbridge Assists powered by Parity. Together, we're empowering girls and women through sports and education. With grants to 32 organizations in 21 states. Every step I take is for the finish line and for the next generation chasing their dreams. Here's to 26.2 miles and a future with no limits.
Bart Scott.
What the hell?
Chris Carlin.
Take a hike. We're good.
This is Bart and Carlin.
Buckle your chin strap. We about to bang.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Things not much better since the last time we talked to Damen Woody, unfortunately. It is Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York and on the ESPN New York app. Bart, on his way back from London today. He will be back with us tomorrow. Dan Grassa is in for him. Damen Woody, ESPN NFL analyst, joins us right now. Last time you were talking about how tired you were of New York sports sucking. Any thoughts on that now that the Yankees are officially done and the Jets, Jets?
Well, at least the Giants won.
That's true.
I mean, we had that in the New York sports scene, but
feels like it was a year ago.
Mean, yeah, no, it feels like a lifetime ago since that happened. But yeah, man, we just got to get the New York sports scene to kind of pick up the pace just a little bit. Give us something, my God.
Oh, you're not kidding. Let's just start with yesterday. Was it too simplistic of an opinion for me to suggest that yesterday's Jet loss was 100% on Justin Fields?
It would be about 90%, 90% at least. I mean, listen, anyone who has any type of eyesight could clearly see that Justin Fields was just holding on to the ball way too much. I mean, 9 sacks. The man had 9 completions and also 9 sacks for negative 10 yards. I mean, they set back offense about 50 years with that performance. And listen, I've always said, like, what you want in the season is you want the trajectory to be going upward. You want guys to be looking like they're getting better. Tell me how these guys are getting better. Who's getting better out there for this team? I'm not seeing the quarterback get better. There's a lot of players I'm seeing trending in the other direction. And listen, Aaron Glenn, this is your first year. I understand you're trying to change the culture, but he's got to do a much better job getting back to the basics, teaching. And if guys aren't performing up to the standard, then you got to put somebody else in there, because clearly that game, you could have won that game yesterday. You could have won that game. Why not at halftime throw Tyrod in there? Because clearly the quarterback just wasn't getting it done at all.
And Damian, I think that, it seems like Aaron Glenn's under the impression that if he pulled Justin Fields from the game, that he can never play him again as a quarterback. I mean, that's how he kind of made it sound. And it's 100% wrong. I agree. But you've been in a lot of locker rooms, and you played for a lot of head coaches. At the end of the day, and Aaron Glenn was adamant about this, all throughout the offseason when he got the job, he doesn't want to be known as a defensive coach. He wants to be known as a football coach. Don't you have an obligation to every guy in that locker room to do what is best for the team to help win any game?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think I heard something from Aaron Glenn about, not wanting to pull Justin Fields and having him look over the shoulder. Excuse me, I'm trying to win games. I don't have time to be placating somebody's feelings or anything like that. At the end of the day, your job is to win football games by any means necessary. And so when your quarterback is out there, he's struggling to see the field, he's taking unnecessary sacks, he's not making any plays for you at all, whether running or in the passing game, then I need to put somebody else in there who's going to try to give me a spark at least and get something going offensively, because this was the first time, all year where the defense actually showed a pulse, like actually played well. The special teams played well. They had great field position all game. But the offense was just absolutely putrid in that game.
The Damen Woody Report is brought to you by Bet365. He, of course, ESPN NFL analyst. Dan brought this up earlier in reference to Zach Wilson a couple of years ago. You give up 9 sacks like that, and not give up. You take 9 sacks like that of your Fields. Your offensive linemen got to be starting to look at you a little bit sideways. The rest of the team's got to look at it a little bit sideways. So where does Aaron Glenn run into a problem if he's going to continue to try to run Justin Fields out there?
Yeah, here's the problem. The problem is you have is like you risk of having a schism between, one side of the ball compared to the other. Again, as an example, the defense is battling their tails off. They're finally playing the type of ball that we kind of expected out of the Jets this year. They're going out there. They were getting off the field on third down. They were making plays. You finally got your first turnover, and then offensively, that sequence at the end of the first half told me everything I need to know about what the coach felt about his quarterback. He had no confidence and no trust in the quarterback. And so why not at halftime go to your backup quarterback, your more experienced quarterback, to give your team a chance? You owe it to the team to give your team the best shot at winning a football game. It was there for the taking, and he chose not to do it, which is just head-scratching to me.
Damian, if you're Aaron Glenn, when do you start to worry about that relationship with players when you are not getting any results here and you have to now continue to try to sell them on what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's something that you observe, during the week, how they're practicing, all the little things behind the scenes, and then ultimately all these guys still playing for you. And then it comes to a point, if things continue in this trend where, offensively the quarterback is not getting it done, and you're just not seeing the type of performance that you need to see, then you need to make the necessary changes to try to shake things up. And I think we're getting to a point here where you really need to consider that. I understand that, you guys brought in Justin Fields and you're trying to instill confidence and let them know that you're our guy. But at the end of the day, man, it's about winning football games. It's about who gives me the best shot of winning football games. you got to have some production in the passing game. 9 sacks is inexcusable. People think of sacks as on the offensive line. Sacks is everyone. Line, quarterback, receivers, running back. And clearly watching that game, the quarterback was just scared to pull the trigger out there.
Talking with Damen Woody here on ESPN New York. So if you use the rest of the season as an evaluation mode for everybody involved, you're 0-6. The playoffs are, as we know, almost slim to none at this point. You have to concentrate on just winning one football game right now. Do you begin to look at some of these players, i.e. a Breece Hall, with the trade deadline looming, Damen, and say, maybe we'd be better off trying to get some assets in return for players that might be more valued elsewhere in the league because we really aren't going to be chasing anything significant here in 2025?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely think that would be the case for the Jets here. I mean, listen, you're sitting here 0-6. The trade deadline is going to be coming up in a few weeks. And this is a new regime, new GM, new coach. They want to do things their way. And some of these guys obviously are not players that they brought in. And so you're going to look to try to accumulate assets and bring in more of the type of players that fit your quote-unquote, your program and your style. So, listen, if this continues along, I could absolutely see, whether it's a Breece or other people, especially a guy like Breece who's entering playing on I think this is the last year of his deal, trying to get some type of compensation so you can build towards the future.
D. Wood with us. He, of course, ESPN NFL analyst. Let's hit a couple of other things around the league real quick. Number one, Brian Branch. You think he's going to get suspended by the league after last night?
I think he will, because there's been such a point of emphasis by the league this year in the sportsmanship. And like I said earlier this morning, you had 3 hours to fight, like literally, fight, during the game. But you choose to do it after the game, nationally televised game, standalone game, and choose to have something like that. The league doesn't take kindly to anything like that, and I don't think it's going to be a fine. I think it's going to be a suspension.
When you're looking at the other things that happened yesterday, what were the things that really jumped out to you the most? For me, it was the fact that at least we saw some life out of Baltimore, but without Lamar on the field, they can't win.
Yeah, I was actually more disappointed in the Los Angeles Rams. I just felt like they didn't play up to the standard in which they really have for themselves. I thought it was lackluster on their part. Just other games. Listen, I will say this, man. This is a team that people, I think a lot of people don't talk about as much. I think the Seattle Seahawks, watch out for the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold is playing absolutely, like, he is playing lights out. They got a lot of guys hurt on the defensive side, particularly in their secondary. When those guys get back, with the way the quarterback is playing and the Jackson Smith and Jigba kid, like, Seattle is going to make a lot of noise coming in the stretch. Tampa and Baker has just been phenomenal. I mean, talk about injuries. They got 2 starting linemen out. They got Mike Evans out. Chris Godwin's out. Emeka Egbuka, who's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year, he got hurt in the game. And all Baker did was will his team to another win yesterday. So, listen, there's some scrappy performances going on out there in the NFC.
Yeah, just all around a great day for Jet fans, Damen, right? Between what Sunday morning was and then the 1 o'clock window, you had Sam Darnold do his thing again. Todd Bowles is the coach of a team with the best record in the NFC right now at 5-1. In that Tampa Bay game, another big hit for the Niners, though, with Fred Warner going down, and this one obviously looks like significant. I mean, here's the question I have. How many more hits can San Francisco take from an injury standpoint and still stay afloat?
It's just hard to really fathom, to be honest with you, because, obviously the Nick Bosa injury, that's had a huge effect on them. He's out for the year. They have a hard time getting after the quarterback. But when you talk about Fred Warner, to me, Fred Warner is the heart and soul of that team. This is a guy that's missed one game, in 8 years. Think about that. He's been incredibly durable. He's the best linebacker in the National Football League. He's a great statesman for the National Football League. And to see him go down like that, man, man, I don't know how many more injuries the 49ers can take as a whole.
All right, non-sports question. Issue happened with Dan yesterday. D. Wood, you're driving into the city all the time. You drive in on a Sunday morning. You pull in. You have to go to a garage. You're hoping, of course, being in that early, going to get the early bird special. You expect it. You pull in, let's say at 6:30. Later in the day, after the game, come back. You get to your car 2 o'clock, whatever. They tell you were too early for the early bird because the early bird started at 7 and they're charging you $65. What's your reaction?
Are you kidding me?
That's a true story, Damien.
Listen, those are not the words that I'll be using. We're on, I'm trying to be nice here. Like, really, dude? Like, I would, guys, I'll be going off.
I was looking for the cameras.
That for 30 minutes was the difference. I got there at 6:30, and you told me I missed it because I'm too early?
Damien, what's the essence? What's the essence of the early bird if you're not early? I was early.
See, that's just robbery. That's just robbery on their part. That's really touching the nerve with me. I would let me go down to this parking garage and have a talk with this fella down there because that's pissing me off.
I actually said this one time at a parking garage in the city as somebody took my $70, and I was with a friend. I said, it's amazing what you people get away with. And my friend's like, that's racist. I said, no, that's anti-garagist.
It's anti-garagist. It's true. Anti-establishment.
And by the way, you just mentioned it. $70. I had to pay $70 for parking. Are you kidding me? $70 just to park your car for 2 hours.
It's thievery.
2 hours I had to pay today for $70 for 2 hours.
Thievery.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure you can get reimbursed. Thanks, D. Wood.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Damen Woody,
I'll
ESPN
tell you, I'll
NFL
take
analyst.
you, behind the scenes and to that point. Like, Rick does it every day.
Yeah.
Like, true story. Like, he'll pay and the one around here, and I had to park at this one time, and it is about 7. It's ridiculous for a few hours. But when we were at the old place uptown, and we had the garage that you even had a nice, deal with.
Had a $15 deal with.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was tremendous. But, Rick would do, going in as early as he goes in or whatever, there was that same, guy who worked the overnight shift. You know what I mean? So he was there, and sometimes he would be literally asleep behind the desk.
Sure.
Because it's, 4 in the morning or whatever, and he got to raise the fence or the gate or whatever it was. Rick had this, special relationship with the guy to where, I saw, to give him his car, they'd embrace, they'd give a nice hug. So they had a nice arrangement going on. But see, I don't have that arrangement.
No.
They see me come in every other Sunday whenever they're on the road, but it's $65. And I didn't mention this earlier, too. They charge me the supersize vehicle rate, which upped it even more.
What are you driving?
Grand Cherokee.
That's not supersized.
Thank you. It's a nice size, but it's not supersized.
A Wagoneer is supersized. A Tahoe is supersized. I could see an SUV rate. That's not a supersized rate.
And it's always at the discretion of whoever's working. Because some guys, they hit you with the charge. Others, they don't. Yeah. Yesterday, of course, I get no early bird plus supersize, $65.
That's the old double screw job right there.
And 9 sacks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Grassa. And then 9 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And 9 sacks.
Bart Carlin, ESPN New York, and on the ESPN New York app. Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Hey, 1 o'clock today, Columbus Day special. Islanders Jets, UBS Arena. You'll be there. 5 o'clock, ALCS Game 2 in Toronto between the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Coverage on 1050 ESPN at 4:30 p.m. 7 o'clock, Devils in Columbus to play the Blue Jackets, and 8 o'clock, NLCS Game 1 in Milwaukee, Dodgers, Brewers. Coverage right here on ESPN New York at 7:30 p.m. Tullamore Dew is the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly.
I had that thing for you from before. I mentioned the immortal Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
So the minus 10 net yards passing yesterday by Justin Fields, the fewest of any NFL game since Ryan Leaf in 1998 Chargers-Chiefs, minus 19.
Here's how bad that game was. I remember that game. That was in a pouring rainstorm, too.
Minus 19.
He was so bad. Was that the game where, I don't think it was, but he flipped out on the media afterward, too? Like, he really...
No, that was a during the week situation, and then Junior Seau had to come and, like, pull him away from the reporter. Yeah, that was something.
Wow. He back then was so, God.
He'd been through a lot, and good for him that he got his life straightened out. But, I mean, and think about that, though. Like, people that weren't around in the draft process leading up to 1998, there was actually, for a good amount of that whole time, Manning or Ryan Leaf. Like, some people thought that Ryan Leaf might have been the better choice at number one.
Real debate.
Think of that would have altered NFL history.
9 sacks. 9 sacks yesterday.
9 times.
I catch a niner in there?
9 times.
That was 100% was on the quarterback yesterday. And people will sit there and they will see that number if they didn't watch the game, and they will think, God, that Jet offensive line must stink. At least 7 of them were on Justin Fields. And I've seen more than enough. I understand what it is, and it doesn't sit here and tell you that I can't ever play him again the rest of the year. This is just where they are. If I'm Aaron Glenn, how do I sell anything to the rest of my team anymore if I'm going to run them out there again this week after that kind of performance? And not at least put a, wrong word here, but you'll understand what I'm saying, put a professional out there like Tyrod Taylor, at least a seasoned veteran guy who I know may not be very good, but is not going to destroy me by making those kinds, or really not making those kinds of decisions.
It's incredible. We joked about it with D. Wood. Like, you see what Todd Bowles is doing in Tampa. Do you realize at one point in that game yesterday in the second half, because of all the injuries that the Buccaneers have had at wide receiver, they were down to their 4th, 5th, and 6th string on the depth chart, like when the season began, at wide receiver, and they put up a 30 spot. And they've got the best record in the NFC. And that's Todd Bowles, who's en route to winning his 3rd or 4th straight division title down there in the NFC South.
It's Baker. It's Baker, too, and it's the quarterback. It's him figuring it out after a few years. Now, listen, he was in exile, too. He figured it out, but at the same time, this is just about a guy that is not a very good player. That's all there is to it right now. And this is an interesting point. I don't think that you will get this as you desire, but I want to hear it from Brian in Martinsville. Brian is next on ESPN New York. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, guys? I am not going to talk about the product on the field, because to say it's anything short of garbage is too kind. What I do want to talk about is the fan experience, and that Woody Johnson needs to go public right now and do a letter that the Rangers did when the Knicks froze season ticket prices. I'm a season ticket holder. I just looked at the face value of my tickets with parking passes. It's like $3,300 left for the last 5 games. Those tickets, I mean, for $3,300, they might let me call an offensive play. The ticket prices have no value. He is raising them at an alarming rate, and there's no plan. There's no hope. I have no hope. I'm delusional by all measure of the stick, and I have no hope that next year is even going to be better. We might win 4 games combined the next 2 years. So I would like him to come out, not Glenn and Muji, because if we have the number 1 pick, I don't trust them to pick that pick. I don't trust them to develop that pick. So a plan needs to be established by someone. And Woody Johnson, I'm not a Woody Johnson's the worst owner guy. I know a lot of people are. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's the worst. But a clear plan needs to be articulated to this fan base.
I understand that. You're not going to see Woody Johnson come out and talk during the season. That's not going to happen. And what I would say to that is, like, how many owners actually do that? John Mara does that a couple of times a year, and if things are particularly bad, you might hear from him. You hear from Woody like maybe once or twice a year. One time it's going to be at the owners' meetings, and he's not going to say much, or he's going to say something that make you scratch your head. When you bring up the ticket thing, look, I'm never someone to tell you what to do with your money, because I don't think that's right for me to get into anybody else's pocket. I will say that there is one language that most people generally understand, especially people who are providing a service for others and expecting you to pay for it, and you want to get quality service in return. Well, if you stop paying for it, generally that catches their attention. But I can't imagine, I know they did last year, I can't imagine they're going to raise them again this year. I do not see a scenario where Woody is going to come out and speak.
The thing is, also, remember, general managers don't speak.
No, they don't.
Like you're going to hear from the general manager at either the trade deadline or the bye week. And that's really it during the regular season.
Yeah.
Like, that is it.
When is the next time? Maybe at the end of the season and then leading up to the draft?
Right. At the draft combine or something like that.
It's now become
that's
like
it.
4 or 5 times a year they actually speak, period.
You hardly see the general manager speak. So, I mean, like, we haven't heard from Damen Woody since, the end of camp or during camp or something like that. And their bye week is coming up in a couple of weeks, which is, ironically enough, their bye week is 2 days before the trade deadline. So you'll probably hear from the general manager then, and then you're probably not going to hear from him again until at least January. At least. But I'm not just saying him in particular. General managers as a whole in the NFL, they don't really talk during the regular season.
No.
And aside from Jerry Jones, who talks although he didn't talk yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you caught that after the game. He didn't.
Oh, I did not catch that.
Did not speak.
You lose to Carolina, and all of a sudden we can't find you? What
did
happened?
Not speak, but I mean, most owners are kind of silent during the season, right?
Yeah, they all are. Absolutely. Unless you're Jerry, they all are.
Right, and because Jerry likes it. Yeah. Jerry wants it.
Most owners don't want you to see how the sausage is made.
No.
That's just all there is to it. And it's not an individual knock on Woody. I would agree. Woody is not the worst owner, but he's not the best owner. That's for sure. There are owners in professional sports that are infinitely worse. But I get frustrated when people just think, well, you got to expect him to speak up and we're the customers and all that. Why? When would he suggest that he's done that?
Right.
It's Bart Carlin, ESPN New York. By the way, the Damen Woody Report was brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. In moments, a little spin around the league, as they say, in our sideline to sideline. And, Christoph, I was violated yesterday, physically. I'll explain. Next.
Monday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The Jets are now 0-6 on the season with a loss in London. How long will they stick with Justin Fields? Can it get any worse?
The reason why we didn't win this game offensively is just because we couldn't consistently throw it. Do we have a better option that can come in and actually throw a football? Yes, we do. Why not use it?
Because to him, that's a ridiculous question.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Listen up, football fans.
Dropped right down the chimney by Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson, and the Jets have the lead. Be at MetLife Stadium for the Jets and the Panthers on Sunday, October 19th at 1 p.m., presented by JetBlue. Get to the game early and secure the game giveaway, a JetBlue Jets plane magnet while supplies last. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower and did an incredible, really an unbelievable job. They offer all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit done in just one day. Durable and easy to clean with no demo or mess and lower cost than a standard replacement. And a lifetime guarantee. Right now, no money down, no payments, no interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today like we did at bathfitter.com. There's only one bath fitter.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
This fall, don't sit on the sideline because of pain. If you're tired of waking up stiff, fighting neck, back, or joint pain, and missing out on the things you love, it's time to take action. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain, New Jersey's top pain specialist. Dr. Shaw is the Ivy League trained, double board certified, and laser focused on one thing: getting you back in the game. Living pain-free, no surgery, no cuts, no downtime. Just precise image-guided treatments that deliver real results. Whether it's sciatica, nerve pain, migraine, or chronic joint pain, Dr. Shaw will personalize a non-surgical game plan just for you without pain medication. Same-day and next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Most major insurances are accepted, so what are you waiting for? Don't let pain keep you out of the action this season. Visit Sandwell Pain to text, call, or book online. You'll wish you met Dr. Jay Shaw a lot sooner. Relief starts today, and victory over pain is closer than you think.
Honey, this is it. Shot clock winding down. Trailing by 2.
When you can't miss the last shot, and neither can he, don't take slow for an answer.
Pastrello shoots. Good to see it, Carl.
Switch to Optimum Fiber, the fastest and most reliable fiber internet, starting at just $40 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today.
What went through your head on the last shot?
It all happened so fast. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check Kirk Herbstreit's pregame analysis first, before talking to your brother-in-law.
In this game, the key thing to watch will be the offensive line versus their front seven. If they can get pressure without blitzing, this could be a long night.
Okay, Kirk.
I know stuff.
Ooh, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I got to turn up the speaker more in this room so I actually, hear when we're in a break and maybe coming back. Bart Carlin, ESPN New York. If you're not watching on the YouTube page, why not? You can go there. You can watch. You can see 2 white men sitting and talking into microphones. What's more exciting than that? You're welcome. Go do it. We are right there on the ESPN New York YouTube page. Go there and subscribe. And, of course, we will get your comments in as well from the YouTube chat. Right now, though, a little sideline to sideline.
It's going to happen.
This is Sideline to Sideline. Go. With Bart and Carlin. Colts 31, Cardinals 27.
This one was particularly aggravating to Dan, considering the Cardinals yesterday started Jacoby Brissett at quarterback and had a legitimate chance to go and win at Indianapolis. Colts are off to their best 6-game start in 16 years, since 2009 when they went to the Super Bowl. How about that?
Think about the situation with the Colts and what Daniel Jones is doing. It's not even out of the realm of possibility that the way this season's unfolding, we could be sitting there in January New York football fans could be sitting in January watching a playoff game with Aaron Rodgers starting against Daniel Jones.
Wow.
Right?
That matchup is actually happening in a few weeks, but still, like in the playoffs, that would be tough to take.
Both as division champions,
yes,
by the way.
That would be exceptionally tough to take. Colts are, look, they're good. I won't take too much out of that game yesterday because it is the Cardinals and they're okay, and it's Brissett. But, like, the Cardinals are just that. They're just constantly the Cardinals.
I give the Cardinals actually a little bit of credit yesterday, and that was a weird one for me to kind of handicap because Arizona had the choke job of all choke jobs last week.
Yeah.
That fourth quarter against Tennessee, like
horrible.
Some of the stuff that happened in that quarter, or that in the second half, like you couldn't with DeMercado, and then with the interception, the fumble that turned into a touchdown that only happens once in a million years. How would they respond? How would they bounce back? And then the Jonathan Gannon thing with DeMercado and the $100,000 fine. And then you have Jacoby Brissett playing, not even Kyler Murray. I give Arizona credit for actually almost pulling.
Did you say Harrison got hurt or not?
And Harrison got hurt.
Yeah, Harrison got
in his
hurt
homecoming to Indianapolis, where he spent a lot of his childhood, of course. That was surprising that it was even that much of a game.
Yeah, listen, I give him credit. Next.
Chargers 29, Dolphins 27.
It helps if Chunky hits the button. That's my bad there. Typical Dolphins go and take the lead 27-26, and Justin Herbert comes right back. Ladd McConkey, 42 yards, right down the field. Dolphins keeping my under 6.5 very, very much alive at just one win. I am looking at that, and I am calling myself a genius. How did Vegas not see that the Miami Dolphins were going to be this bad?
That backdoor cover, though, yesterday, that was something.
Yeah, that is a little kick in the pants.
That was a tough one. But no, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not even all that surprised. I wake up every Monday, thinking with the Dolphins if we're going to get news today.
I would agree, and I don't know how you don't when after the game Tua says, problem is with us, we have players who don't take accountability. Even with our players-only meeting last week, we had some guys who were late, and we had some guys who just didn't show up.
At Cleveland, at Atlanta next 2 weeks for the Dolphins.
I know Stephen Ross likes Mike McDaniel and doesn't want to fire him, but it's getting bad. It's getting really bad.
General manager needs to go, too.
Oh, the general manager.
Chris Greer's been there way too long.
Although he would tell you right now, how y'all feel about Darren Waller now?
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, my God.
Isn't that incredible?
How does that guy come out of nowhere? Literally on the street.
Was he up to 4 touchdowns?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. What do we got next?
Patriots 25, Saints 19.
Same thing. I got the Saints in the under this year. This is going to be just about my betting. That's all that matters. Patriots let me ask you this question. Is Drake May going to end up being the best quarterback out of that entire group?
Maybe. I think it's still too premature. He's well coached. The fact that he's got Vrabel and McDaniel there, Mike Daniels, and you're seeing the results. Last year it was kind of an incomplete because of the injury and everything, and obviously the season that they had. But I thought that was another good spot for the Patriots yesterday because that had trap game written all over it.
Yeah.
You have the huge win on Sunday night in Buffalo. You're on the radar. You're America's darlings again with that win. It's easy to go down to New Orleans thinking you're the best thing since sliced bread against the horrible Saints team.
The Patriots are one of those 4-2 teams that you look up and you realize, holy crap, the Patriots are 4-2.
Last 2 years, they topped out at 4 wins each season.
Wow.
Steelers 23, Browns 9.
Aaron Rodgers is, playing all right. He can still throw it around a little bit. The Browns stink. The Browns are just, even as good as they are defensively, the Browns are just brutal to watch right now. And Pittsburgh is somehow, again, how are they? The headline of this is, how is Pittsburgh 4-1 right now? I have no idea how that's the case, but it's true. And it's the 19th time in franchise history. They are 4-1 with a plus 12 point differential.
It's funny, outside of the Jet game, they haven't topped out offensively at 24 points is what they've topped out at.
Yeah. Listen, that Jet game, they were not very good in that Jet game. Should have won it.
Yeah.
Should have won it? Should have won it.
As long as it would have counted in that left column 1-1, it would have been good.
Panthers 30, Cowboys 27.
Panthers are interesting to me. They're sitting at 3-3, and Dave Canales, I really feel like under the radar is a pretty good coach because, they had wins last year, where you thought maybe they revived Bryce Young. Still don't know what the deal is with Young, but the fact that they go out there and win that game yesterday and they're a competitive team when roster-wise they really shouldn't be, I don't know. That says a lot about them to me.
They're 3-3. They're 3-0 at home. They're 0-3 on the road. Next up is a road test in East Rutherford against you-know-who. And if you're the Cowboys, like I said, that game yesterday doesn't bode well looking at the Jets when the Cowboys look like, Aikman, Irvin, and Emmett last week. And then yesterday they go down to Carolina and lose to the Panthers.
Seahawks 20, Jaguars 12.
How is this possible, the stat I'm about to give you? The Seattle Seahawks have won 9 straight road games. How is that possible that the Seattle Seahawks have won 9 straight road games? That's unbelievable to me.
And it was always, they were the number one home field advantage in the NFL for the longest time. With 12s and all that stuff, and now they're becoming a road team. Maybe this is just my own, thought process. After the game was over yesterday and I'm sitting there and, just taking in the whole day of the NFL, do you know what the first thought that popped in my mind was when you see the walking off the field? I said, oh, man, imagine being the Seahawks, even though you just won this game. Now you got to get on a plane and fly from Jacksonville all the way to the northwest part of the country. Yeah. That's a nightmare.
That is almost the longest flight you can take in the league.
At least you won. You fly back with a win. But, I mean, that's like the last thing you want to do after a game.
Last week when I flew to Seattle, I was like, crap, I really forgot how much longer this is than even going to L.A.
Bad.
It's like 6.5.
The California flight's not bad.
No.
Like, it was 5 hours, easy. Like, it doesn't even feel that bad.
Well, we had a problem yesterday that I'll tell you about.
Rams 17, Ravens 3.
Ravens just, listen, they couldn't score at all. And we talked to D. Wood earlier, not really thrilled with what we saw with the Rams. But the Rams keep winning. Give them credit. I did not expect Stafford to hold up like this. I still have a lot of questions about what he looks like later in the year at his age. But the Rams are rolling along right now, and the Ravens are 1-5, and I don't know what to make of it.
I'm not throwing dirt on them yet. That's what.
Yeah.
Because they have their bye this week. After the bye, Roquan Smith is back. A guy by the name of Lamar Jackson is back. You've got 2 Bengals games. You got a Browns game. You got a Jets game, among others, a Dolphins game on that schedule. The Ravens will have a pulse. They're actually one of the Thanksgiving games this year. Because I had to look that up. The night game this year on Thanksgiving. Too bad he can't flex out of it. It's Bengals-Ravens.
Woof.
Raiders 20, Titans 10. Packers 27, Bengals 18.
Yeah, that says everything you need to know about the Ravens. Joe Flacco, it would have been impressive if Flacco had become the first quarterback to ever beat the same team in a season twice with 2 different teams. But, alas, it was not to be.
And they kept it close, though. It was a 1-score game until Green Bay booted that field goal home to make it, 9? Yeah, I mean, it's one of those lost years for Cincinnati. What can you do?
Buccaneers 30, 49ers 19.
Detail it again, all the players that are hurt for Tampa Bay.
It's incredible. You're down to the bottom reaches of your depth chart at the wide receiver position. Baker Mayfield, if we're giving out an MVP on Columbus Day here, he's in the top 2-3 easy in the NFL.
Yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. Todd Bowles has done a very nice job. The Buccaneers keep winning, and listen, right now, I don't expect the 49ers at this point, with all these injuries, to be able to hold up.
It is really, it's like a voodoo doll.
Yeah.
And it's not just injuries, it's injuries to key people.
Yeah. No, every one of their injuries, it seems, has been to somebody really, really important, not just the guys who are special teamers and such.
Chiefs 30, Lions 17.
It just kind of came out after the game that the biggest story from here was Brian Branch basically starting a fight after Patrick Mahomes went to shake his hand. Branch blew him off, and then that really ticked off Juju Smith-Schuster, and he came over and he basically threw a punch at him and started a brawl after the game. So we expect Branch will probably get suspended for that. I would think so, because you don't generally get away with something like that.
He was apologetic after the game. I saw his little clip, and apparently, like, they showed something. I did see the clip afterwards where, like, I guess Juju gave him a cheap shot, like block in the back that floored him during the game, and I guess he took exception to that. Shouldn't maybe handled it in that setting after the game where you go up and cheap shot him, after the game is over. But yeah, it's not a good look. And give Dan Campbell credit. You see Dan Campbell? He opened his post-game press conference last night with that.
Yep.
Basically saying it's not going to be tolerated, so that's good.
And again, Dan Campbell is the guy that is not afraid of criticizing someone publicly when they deserve it.
Right.
And in that case, it's not like that was a little thing. That was a big thing. An easy thing to do but for Campbell, but still should be credited for that. And the Chiefs, by the way, scored 30 points yesterday. Second time this year they've done that. I forgot that they only scored 30 twice of all last year.
Rashee Rice is coming back. And you know something? Mahomes, he's actually played really, really good this year.
Yeah.
Like he has. Like Mahomes is playing at, again, an MVP level. And remember the last couple of years, statistically, like he wasn't that, even though the Chiefs were winning games, right? And we thought, is he ever going to be like that guy again? If he keeps this up, he's going to be in the conversation.
Your calls and how I got violated yesterday.
Wow.
Next, Bart Carlin, ESPN New York.
Murray to the net. Score!
The New York Islanders are back in action with a brand new theme night schedule you won't want to miss. Bring your friends out for the holidays and take home a custom holiday replica jersey or arrive early for special bobblehead giveaway nights for Matt Barzell and Bo Horvat.
Barzell for Horvat. Score!
Explore the full theme night schedule at NewYorkIslanders.com.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
D'Agostino & Associates is a legacy firm, and I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured.
The hustle and grit of these streets shaped me. I'm John D'Agostino, and from the concrete to the courtroom, I built this injury firm 35 years ago to get accident victims justice. So call my team first, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
You want justice? Think Jenna D'Agostino. Think D'Agostino & Associates. Justice isn't just a word. For us, it's a way of life. It's having compassion for your struggle and getting you paid for your pain. Now that's justice. D'Agostino & Associates means being there for the injured.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law, Bite Back.
You know so much about who you are. But do you know what makes your body your body? With over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help you know the truth. Because you know you're made of grit, wit, and a good heart. But just how healthy is that heart? You know you're made up of all the places you've called home. You know you're made of your mom's sarcasm. And now you can find out if you have her thyroid too. You know you're made of college all-nighters and 30s early-nighters. But those still don't explain your sleep issues. You know that you're made up of good meals with even better conversation. But are you actually absorbing those nutrients? A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
There are a lot of reasons why people buy at Ramsey Mazda. It's their selection, it's their customer service, and it's their savings. Get 1.9% financing on a new Mazda 2025 CX-50 or lease for $219 for 36 months. Start shopping now at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda. Call 833-853-2970 for lease details. VIN SN390557. MSRP $32,455. Zero security deposit. APR $17.48 per $1,000 financed. Ends 10/31/25.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager, hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team.
Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damen Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
I don't love making things all about me, but I will because I do enjoy that. Christoph, let's go.
Carlin is crisp off.
Go home. I don't need that energy. Back-to-back days with 6 a.m. flights. Yesterday, LAX coming home after I did Michigan and USC the other night. Loved it. Had an absolute blast doing it. Get to the airport, 4:30. LAX is a bit of a challenge, as you can imagine, but that's fine. Get to security. Lately, I have run into a lot of the random ID checks and all that stuff. Get that. Okay, good. Generally because I'm flying alone. That's why that happens a lot. Put my bag onto the conveyor belt. Got the, what do you call it? The TSA pre.
You do the pre.
I do have TSA pre. Mm-hmm. So I go through the thing. Buzzes. Okay. Now, my belt's not it's not a giant metal buckle.
You're not wearing suspenders.
No. Walk back through. Walk again. Okay. Then they put me through the thing where you have to hold your two hands up.
Yeah.
And they wave it around. And this whole, they do like the basic x-ray of your body. I go on through the other side. Sir, we're going to have to do a pat down. I'm sorry? What? I look over at the machine that has the results of the scan of my body, and there is a giant red X basically where my junk is. Like there is something that I am hiding in my pants according to that machine.
What were you stashing?
Nothing. Many people have found that out before, but it's just true. Nothing. So I, for the first time, get patted down. And, there were a couple times when I was a kid where I got in some trouble. Hang on, I'll get there. Where I got, police pat down, stupid things like that. This was a little bit more of a pat down than I was really comfortable with. And there was nothing. I was not stowing anything, but for some reason, this machine had it in for me, and I thought I was being set up at TSA. Go ahead. Questions?
The red X.
Yeah.
On the junk.
In the area of junk.
The junk area.
It was not clear if it was front or back, but basically it's that dude is hiding something somewhere in his crotchal region.
So you mentioned the pat down.
Yeah.
Did the pat down venture into said junk region?
In the vicinity. Certainly more than the zip code.
More than the zip code?
Oh, yeah.
Like an annex.
It was as close as you could get without getting there.
Sounds
and
like
he said to me, like, do you want to go to a private room? I'm like, I actually asked the question, are we taking off my clothes here? And he said, no. I said, oh, okay, all right, then I'm all right. I can understand why a woman would want to do that.
Yeah, sure.
Or if you're sensitive, whatever. I was just like, okay, no. But yeah, got close. Think like on the episode of Friends when Joey was talking about his tailor cupping. Like it was not far off from that. I have never been patted down like this before, and this machine continued to insist there was something in there.
What is the process if you looked into it to file a complaint? Does that get you anywhere?
No, they just said, okay, you can go.
No, but like like after the fact, like if you go on or call, TS, whatever, like I want to file a complaint. I was at LAX and blah, 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 blah.
Here's the thing. I am never going to file a complaint with TSA because to me, that's just getting yourself marked for the rest of your life.
That's a great point.
There are just certain things you don't argue.
Right. No fly list. Carlin, Christopher.
Yeah, not getting on that.
Yeah.
Not getting on that. I had no idea what it was, but I swear to God, like, did you ever see, like, Broke Down Palace back in the day? Where basically somebody is stuffing drugs into your bag, and they're doing it so that a drug dealer does it to get somebody picked off so that they can get the rest of their drugs through. So the cops think they did their job by finding somebody. I thought that I was somebody's patsy. Did somebody, when I wasn't looking or paying attention, stuff a bag of drugs down the back of my pants?
You were the frame guy.
Do you look at me and think that's a target?
No, but that's why I think that you could be targeted by somebody because, like, hey, I know that this guy doesn't look suspicious. I'll plant the drugs on him.
Like, it was not, I have never been patted down. Patted down.
Wow.
That was the whole thing.
But you know what? You came out the other side better for it, I guess.
Did I? No.
I thought it was a strong performance today from you. It was a good performance.
But you know what it was, though? It was quite the spectacle in the moment. A lot
6
of people,
a.m., you said, right?
Oh, 5:40.
Was it crowded, though, at 5:40?
Yeah.
Really?
On a Sunday, yeah, there was a lot of people going to fly somewhere because everybody takes the early flight because they think they'll definitively get out
faster.
Yeah.
Because if you go later in the day, forget it.
Yeah.
See, that's one, if you're early, you're not penalized for being early.
Although you could argue I was yesterday.
That's a good point.
It is Bart Carlin. Danny, appreciate you're back. We'll see you on Wednesday with us, correct?
Rumor has it. Couple of real quick manager notes for baseball.
Oh, go.
Mike Schilt, Padres, retiring. Kind of unexpected. That's a little surprise.
Schilty!
And closer to home here with the Phillies. Remember, there was a little bit of debate because of their not living up to expectations. John Heyman reporting Rob Thompson will indeed be back with the Phillies in 2026.
He should be, shouldn't he? I mean, he had
a lot of people seem, the detractors will tell you that maybe the Phils don't play with that same fire in October, and they think that his laid-back demeanor is part of it. I don't subscribe to that, but,
Okay.
He's back.
Michael Kay is up next on ESPN New York and the ESPN New York app.
Did you know women account for 2/3 of all Americans living with Alzheimer's and 2/3 of all Alzheimer's family caregivers? Join the Alzheimer's Foundation of America at its Women Empowerment Forum on November 5th in Amityville to learn practical ways women can reduce their risk for Alzheimer's and enhance quality of life for themselves and their loved ones living with Alzheimer's. For more information or to register, visit alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.